Welcome in, and I'm using my soft voice because this is Tuesday Night Bears Therapy, the first edition with your host, myself, Kellen Lapka, and Kellen Garenstein, who's already into the meditating. He's already zen. He's ready to go. This is your safe space. All throughout the week, all you hear is negativity. You listen to ESPN. You listen to your other podcasts. This is your time to let it all out. And we are here for you at Bears Nation Podcast, guiding you through the utter pain that it is to be a Chicago Bears fan. This is an hour, if not more, of just Bears therapy. We're going to make things just all right, man. It's going to all be okay. You're going to hop in this, and by the time you leave, you're going to feel great. Kellen, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling relaxed. I'm ready to feel a hell of a lot better about the Bears. How about you?
My man, I am ready to do the same, and I'm ready to make other people feel how we do. I'm ready for everyone to correct. Opinions are opinions, but facts are facts, and we're going to speak some facts.
That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to speak some facts, and we are opening up the link to the public. Could be a ginormous mistake, okay? You can find the link on our Twitter and on our Instagram, and if you want to hop in here and talk Bears, go ahead. We're taking all calls like it's the radio, and we are helping you. This is our goal, Kellen. We're here to help the fans, right? We want to help the fans feel better about their team, and that's what we're going to do. You can come in here with a hot take, with a question, whatever you like. Come on in here. We're going to help you out. And boy, do the fans need help, Kellen, because my God, was last Sunday bad.
Yeah, man. I watched the first about half of the first quarter on the plane ride back to Columbus, and watched the rest of it from my phone and computer, and I was quite disgusted, Kevin. I was quite disgusted.
As was I, but again, you have to remember what this is, Kellen. This is Tuesday Night Bears Therapy. So we're going to try to not talk too much about the disgust that we saw. Correct. We're going to try to find the positives here. We're going to find, the good that was in the bad. This is what we're here to do. We're here to make you feel a little bit better about your favorite team because we know it's hard. We do. It's really freaking hard being a fan of the Chicago Bears, and our goal is to make it not as hard. And let's start with, the topic of conversation that causes Bears fans the most stress and pain right now, and that would be Justin Fields. Kellen, from what you saw walking it back, tell these fans who are under extreme stress and worry that Justin Fields is not the guy and he hasn't delivered week after week. This is the therapy session. This is your time, Kellen. Tell them why it's all going to be okay with JF1.
Listen, he is an extremely talented guy. We know that. Everyone who, like Jake, let's take Jake, for example. Jake's like, where he's out of excuses. We're trying to make excuses for him. Every excuse for him right now is valid. He has started, 14, 15 games? His play caller is mightily struggling to be aggressive right now. He does not have a great offensive line when it comes to pass blocking. As a matter of fact, they're probably one of the worst that we've seen in a young quarterback's growth process in a long time. His receivers cannot separate. For the most part, they really struggled. And there were some times when he missed open guys. We'll talk about that. But there are times when Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Drew Brees and Patrick Mahomes will continue to miss open receivers because guess what? Yeah, it's football. Jake believes in football. Listen, we'll be fine. I do think he has to be a little bit more aggressive, find his groove. Justin Fields played so much better than he did in the Houston game, though. He played so much better. He was a lot more accurate. I thought he made better plays with his legs. We saw the connection with Mooney, and why they didn't go to that more doesn't make a lot of sense to me, considering he's by far, our best receiver and our best playmaker, maybe our best player on offense, especially with David Montgomery hurt. So, I don't know. I'm not the coach. Maybe I wish I was. who knows what it would have looked like. But Luke Getsy needs to get it together. Justin Fields is not the main problem. Does he have to be better? Absolutely. We're here in therapy to not only be positive, but to be real. Does Justin Fields need to be better? We would love to see it. Absolutely. It will come. It will come. I promise you, me and Kevin are saying it right now. It will come. But everything else around him has to also come. Because let's be honest, Patrick Mahomes, even though Tyreek is still pretty damn group of receivers, he's got a damn good play call. He's got a damn good offensive line. Maybe the best receiver tight end ever played the game.
Yeah.
Let's look at every other successful quarterback in the league except Lamar Jackson. And as much as I hate Greg Roman at least puts Lamar Jackson into a couple spots where his athleticism and his play can really shine. And I just don't feel like we're doing that with Justin Fields right
now. I 100% agree. I'm with you. Look, this, you talked about being real. Yes, you got to be real, right? This is it's the new social media app. You take you got 2 minutes to post, you be real. You got to be real about the Bears. We're not here to beat around the bush here. We're going to be real. We're going to be positive, but we are going to be real about it. And the reality is, yes, Justin Fields needs to be better, but there are so many factors involved with this, right? And it starts with the offensive line. And this is why these therapy sessions are important, because we shed light on these other issues that are causing your starting quarterback and your potential quarterback of the future, who you hope is still going to be here for the next 10 years, that's causing him struggle. You look at the protection up front, right? And you look at Sam Mustipher, and even Lucas Patrick has been great playing guard, right? And there's some, that's the root of all the issues. That is the root of every single issue. When you are getting blown up on blitzes, no one can block, then there is where you're having the problems with Justin Fields having zero time to throw. And then maybe when he does get time to throw, no one's open. I mean, these are the problems. And there's a case to be made, right, for a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes who makes the people around him better. But there still has to be a foundation. And the Bears don't have that foundation. But with that being said, to reference and quote Field of Dreams, the greatest baseball movie of all time, if you build it, he will come. Okay? If you build the offense around Justin Fields will be a good quarterback, okay? He is going to be fine once you get the pieces around him. Kellen, I think you're lagged out. It's hard to tell, but Kellen might be lagged out. But the bottom line is this. Leave and come back, Kellen, if you can hear me, because you are lagged out, and he is gone. So I got to throw an overlay on it real quick. But everything is going to be okay regarding Justin Fields. Everything is going to be just fine. Casey Smith, not joking. I saw a tweet that said the Colts should trade for Justin Fields this offseason. And this is the crazy thing. PFF today, they released a mock draft, and they had Bryce Young going to the Bears at 4. Are you kidding me? What are we doing here? It's 4 weeks into the season. It's 14 weeks into his NFL career, and we're talking about Bryce Young at 4. First of all, mock drafts before the season are stupid anyway. You don't know where each team is going to be in the draft order. There's no reason in doing them. I'm sorry. If you're a nerd and you want to mock draft in, October 4th, go ahead. Touch grass. That's what I got to say to you. But you can think of names, but don't just mock draft. It's absolutely ridiculous. Kellen's back, man. I'm going off on these people, man. These mock drafters, bro. Did you see PFF's mock draft today, Kellen?
Mike Renner is not serious. Nothing Mike Renner puts out is serious. He's not a real football guy, whatever.
He's a fraud.
And was CJ Stroud, he was the first core. He was over Bryce Young, right?
I'm not sure.
CJ Stroud,
I didn't read it. I just read the headlines. I'm not reading that. I'm not giving him my click.
That's a really good way to put it though. I didn't click it either. I just assumed that someone did, but let me bring my Zen back down. But yes, I'm sick of these people. Remember when they stopped letting Devin Hester run sideways on returns? You know what? I think I may have brought this up on this podcast before as we get a little bit off topic. But people love to, and I love Cordell Patterson. Thank you, Casey. I'm happy Stroud was one. People love to say Cordell Patterson is the greatest kick returner of all time, and Devin Hester is the greatest punt returner of all time. People say that. I feel like we're in the minority. Devin Hester clears Cordero in both punts and kicks. The only reason Devin Hester doesn't have 25 return touchdowns of all time is because the Bears stopped letting him return kicks because they wanted him to focus on playing receiver. So he only returned punts. That man is the greatest returner we will ever see. There is no Cordero was the greatest and Devin was the greatest at this. There is none of that. Devin was better at both. That's not my bias speaking. Maybe it is a little bit, but it doesn't matter because that's the fact. Devin was better at both. He's the most electric man that we'll ever see do what he did. And that's that.
You're absolutely right. And it's funny, we're talking about punt returns. Velus Jones Jr. is going to be just fine. Don't worry about it. We're good. It was a terror. It was brutal. It was brutal. Now, but here's the thing you have to remember. What were the odds they were going to go down the field and score? I mean, really. I mean, the way that they were playing
conversion
and get a 2-point conversion. I mean, the odds were incredibly low, but it's still like have a little faith, right? You look at that play, right? Let's break that play down. I don't play. I don't think people understand how difficult it is to return a punt or to catch a punt.
It is difficult. It is.
And those conditions, like I guess the Bears are just getting fucked with weather every week. This profanity is allowed. This is we can let it out here. Okay. Yes. I'm letting it all out. All right. We've been getting screwed with weather. Like, can we just get a sunny 58, 60 degree day? Like a noon kick? Like, come on, man. Like, I'm sick of this clouds and wind and it's like 15-mile-per-hour winds in East Rutherford by the end of that game and a little bit of rain. And you have a really, really good punter. I think his last name is Gillum. Is it Gilly? Like, what do they call him? They call him something. They call him like the Scottish Hammer or something like that. Like something
I don't
stupid
know
like that. And like that ball, like the ball was moving. You saw Velus. He had to go get it. It was kind of blowing over to the right. Like, that's a really tough play to make. Like, I don't want people to look at that and be like, hey, Velus Jones Jr. sucks. Like, one play, one muff. He sucks. Get him out of there. Like, bring back, Dante Pettis. No, he's going to be just fine. But I am confused why he didn't get a single offensive snap. That, if you're active, you got to play, man. If you practice throughout the week and you're active, he should be playing on offense. If he's okay to return a kick and take the hits on a kick return, then he should be okay to play on offense.
That's a great point. No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. If you're healthy enough to do that, you should be healthy enough to be full go. Yeah, there's some things that the entire staff has to figure out. They're lucky that no one expects them to like actually do great this year. You know what I mean? Because which obviously, but like they don't have an identity right now. They have nothing. It's just and the problem is like, yes, absolutely, the coaches need to coach to win games. Matt Eberflus, Luke Getsy are paid to win football games. So if Luke Getsy thinks that running the football 40 times a game is going to win them the game, fine, do that. Well, not fine, do that. But that's what he's going to do. The problem is that is misguided. And also, this is a year where you need to figure out, not just figure out that this is your guy, but you were hired to develop this quarterback. You were not hired to get the offensive line going, or you were not hired to get Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery a certain amount of combined yards. You were not hired to get Darnell Mooney X amount of receiving yards, despite what Kevin wants in fantasy.
That's not what bro. It's not wants, it's needs, bro. Oh.
Luke Getsy was hired to develop Justin Fields. And I feel like he is being there. You can't hold your guy back. You said this, I think, on one of the podcasts. If he throws 5 interceptions in a game, fuck it.
Yes. Let it out, Kellen. Let it out, buddy. Let it out. I love it.
If that happens, it happens, right? And you move on and you let him play the entire season. But this whole holding him back and, it just doesn't make any sense to me. There's a lot about the offense right now that's not making sense. For example, let me bring this up. The end zone throw to Dante Pettis. This is Dante Pettis. I think this is the exact same route and play that they hit against the Browns in the preseason game that Fields threw to him. It was very easy. He was wide ass open, right? It was that, in the red zone, post back to the corner. Aaron Robinson did a great job playing it. He kept outside leverage the whole time. And they might have done that in scouting. They might have been like, hey, if this is what you see and Pettis is over here all alone, balls on this hash, this is what's coming, right? And why would Dante Pettis run that route? Dante Pettis is not even close to your best receiver.
No, he's
That
not.
needs to be Darnell Mooney running that route. And sometimes football coaches overthink it. I think especially in the NFL. I think especially in the NFL, there's a lot of overthinking. And that's why the Chiefs are so successful. You want to know why? Because they get their best players the fucking ball. When they had Tyreek Hill, they did it with him in creative ways. They have Travis Kelce at tight end, and they do shit with him that no one else in the league can do, obviously because Kelce is really good. But regardless, there are other good tight ends in the league. There's TJ Hawkinson, Kyle Pitts, there's Mark Andrews, even the shit with Kittle. They weren't doing that with him. There's I mean, get your guys the ball. Why is Darnell Mooney not the main guy on that? And then people are going to be like, well, they say the all 22. He was open all the way on the other side of the field. Justin Fields is not getting that. He's not coached to do that. That's probably a one-man read. He's probably like Steve Mariucci is famous for this, and this is probably from him. Touchdown, check down. There's nothing else. You either throw the damn touchdown or you check it down. And with Justin Fields, they probably tell him to run if you can. That's all. We don't know what Justin Fields' reads are. We don't know what he's supposed to be looking at. And Kevin, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't know what you have scheduled for this because this is just therapy, right? We're just letting it out. That play where Justin Fields scrambled on that third down and then people pulled up the still shot of Darnell Mooney like running open.
Yeah.
That was a 3rd and 10 in the red zone. And Justin Fields scrambled for a first down.
Why are you angry?
Why are we angry? Why are we angry? Guys, it is very hard to play quarterback at any level. Windows close faster on Sundays, obviously, than they do in any other league. So are you really going to blame a young quarterback who has had an offensive line that has struggled for the last 2 years, a play caller that he probably doesn't have full confidence in yet? And it's not like he doesn't have confidence in Mooney. He was probably looking at him the whole damn time. It's probably the only guy he feels comfortable with right now. And you're going to tell me that on a 3rd and 10, a young quarterback avoiding a turnover in the red zone is going to take that ball and get down. Now, if he threw a touchdown on that play, and then we're looking at it in hindsight, if he throws a touchdown, that's awesome. We would have loved to see it. But that's why we drafted him, is so on those situations, you take care of the football. And you get a first down. And guess what? Luke Getsy should be able – hold on.
No, you're good. Let it out. It goes both ways. You can be relaxed, and you can also let it out.
Luke Getsy needs to be able to call plays in the fucking red zone. We got to punch the damn ball in, man.
They win that game if they score once.
We gotta score touchdowns. That's how Ohio State lost to Clemson in the Fiesta Bowl in 2019. We didn't score touchdowns in the red zone. So listen, man, the NFL is a cut and paste league. And I think there's a little bit too much cut and a little bit too much pace right now, and not enough. We talked about this last week on Monday when we did therapy. There's just not enough catering to Justin Fields right now. There's too much of this is what worked for everyone else, so it should work for you. Don't worry about it. I'm already on that. I'm gonna get Jackson Smith and Jigba to Chicago. Don't worry about it.
If y'all don't know, Kellen works for the team, man. He's got the ins.
I'm gonna get him.
He's gonna get him. He's already putting in the work. He's already laying the foundation. But you're right. And this, I tweeted that the moment, because the problem is, and this is why we do things like this, and this is why you should be listening to this Bears Therapies, because all you hear on Twitter and, it's narratives and like I implore every single Bears fan listening to this, you know what you can do? You can have your own opinion. I'm glad you listened to us. That's great. Our job here is to kind of make you think about the team a little bit and try to form an opinion for you. But guess what? You can make your own opinion too. You don't have to just see a tweet and be like, oh, that guy, yep, 100%, like wrong. No, you can form your own opinion. You watch the games too. You know what I mean? But the problem is, you're right. Like, people have to understand, if you ever want Justin Fields to be a top 10 quarterback in this league, which I still think he could be if everything goes right, he is going to be that because he is a dynamic player. He's not going to be a top 10 quarterback because he's just a great passer. Like, he's going to be a top 10 quarterback because he is an incredible runner and he's he's one of the top athletes at the position to ever play the position. And that's just a fact. So if you want him to be top 10, you're going to have to be happy that he's extending plays and getting you a first down on 3rd and 10 with his legs, because there's very few quarterbacks that can do that. I mean, if you actually go back, and there's this guy on Twitter who's showing all the clips now. I guess he's posting the all 22 for us. Thank you, sir, because we're not paying for NFL Plus. Hell no. You want to post the clips? Thank you. I mean, some of these bull rushes and blitzes, I have no idea. Like if that was Kellen, for the people who are, and this is a real thing, especially if you look on Bears Facebook, start Trevor Siemian.
It's a real thing.
Siemian.
We heard it. We heard it before even the preseason game.
We heard it. Where do we hear it? At Family Fest?
Family Fest, yes.
We heard it at Family Fest, bro. Before he even took a snap this year. He missed the throw on Family Fest, and the people behind us dead ass were like, well, 15 looks a lot better. Why don't we start him? But anyway, if Trevor Siemian's in that pocket, blown up. Like, Justin Fields recognizes the blitz in like a half a second and then uses incredible athleticism and incredible transitions, which my guy Nate is going to like, because we work on these at the beach sometimes, transitions and explosiveness, to just completely, turn his body, get away from it, and at least make something out of the play. If that was Tom Brady, guy's down, and dude, Tom Brady in this offense I don't even know what his stat line would be. He'd have the worst year of his career if Tom Brady was in this offense. 100%. Like, if Peyton Manning was in this offense, if Drew Brees was in this offense, like, the exceptions could be Lamar and could be Mahomes, just because they're great. But a pure pocket passer who's not mobile is terrible in this offense. And not because it's designed incorrect. It's because the protection just doesn't allow for anyone who doesn't have legs to thrive. It's brutal. And Shane's talking about Mustipher. Yeah, I mean,
it's bad, I get it. That's good one, Shane.
It's that's Shane's guy. He's always talking about Mustipher. So we always put the cow emoji in there. But
got you.
Am I wrong about if Tom Brady played in this offense, he would have the worst statistical year of his career by far.
This is, you're exactly right. And here's the thing with, like I'm saying, like with offenses in the NFL, like, coaches are Byron Leftwich, like, Tom Brady is already not having a great year because Byron Leftwich is not making it easy on him. And, like, for whatever reason, sometimes there seems to be such a gap between good and bad play callers. Tom Brady's love life would be the second biggest issue in the fantasy.
Tom Brady's love life is already his second biggest issue. I mean, him coming back to the NFL probably ruined his marriage. I mean, God knows.
Mike,
but anyway.
And Mike is exactly right. Like, the Eagle, we talked about this last week. The Eagles right now are the blueprint. Like, it's not going to happen this year. It's just not because we just don't have, like, that level of talent, obviously. And I saw, like, a tweet today that I think we're still paying $45 million to guys who are not on this team and guarantees. It's like Jimmy Graham, Charles Leno, and
Nick Foles.
Yes, Nick Foles. We're paying Nick Foles. Ryan Pace. Oh, man. Man, that's just, it's not good. But yes, like, that's a great way to put it, is to follow the Eagles blueprint. Because, again, Nick Sirianni is not trying to make Jalen Hurts into Mahomes. He's not trying to make him into whatever Wentz was in 2017. He's making Jalen Hurts. Blame Ryan Pace for that one too. Jimmy couldn't anytime TD. I mean, even Matt Nagy was like, "Hey, we signed Jimmy Graham, and at least we were throwing him fades in the red zone." Like,
that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know, man.
I can't give credit to Nagy right now, though. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be the person who say, I think I did say it during the game. I was like, the Nagy offense might be better than I think I did mutter it, but I don't know. I might have to walk that back. But so you talk about getting your playmakers the ball, right? But also, like, I said this on the postgame show we did yesterday with Jake. Like, I watched the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, and first of all, I know you probably agree with me with this, and so do other people in this chat who might be fans of other teams. Like Casey is a fan of the Colts. It's painful watching the Chiefs. I don't like watching good offense, because I just get envious and like, I want that to, and I know that'll never be my team. And it hurts to watch good offense, and it sucks. I hate watching Sunday Night Football. But anyway, like, had you ever heard of Jody Fortson before yesterday, Colin?
No.
I mean, really, maybe once or twice in the draft process or something. Yeah. Have you ever heard of Jody Fortson? Yeah. Andy Reid says, you know what? Jody Fortson's getting one-on-one against a smaller cornerback at the goal line. We're going to run a slant on him. If he gets inside leverage, we're just going to throw it to him, and it's man on man, and he's going to score a touchdown. And you scored a touchdown. What like, that's what I mean. That's what I mean when I went back and earlier this offseason, I said, yeah, I understand the personnel is not good. It's not the receiving core isn't great, but you can make things out of it. It shouldn't be this bad. And that's true. I admitted yesterday that the personnel group is way worse than I thought. And I admitted that, but at the same time, you can be doing more. Like the personnel is good enough to be doing more than what you're currently doing right now. Right. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't feel like they're just, taking advantage of the situations.
Yeah. It's, man, I would like to see Shane just put, you can watch the Lions and see good offense. Like Justin Fields in that Lions offense, they're probably like 4-0 right now. Like I know the defense is the problem, but like there's an element about him that probably like elevates that team and their energy because of the things he can do. And their offensive line is fantastic. And they don't even have Jamison Williams there back at receiver, and they're getting 41 points in the game.
I'm with you.
It's frustrating because it shouldn't be this hard, right? It's not this hard. Like, why does Darnell Mooney getting only the amount of catches he has? One. And two, I know we love Cole Kmet after the catch. Like, that's one thing we'll all give Cole Kmet is he's really good after the catch. But damn, 3 screen passes? Not 1, not 2, 3, and one of them in the red zone on a tunnel screen when the ball's on the right hash and you're throwing it all the way out to number 1, all the way on the numbers, and you're trying to get your offensive lineman all the way out there. It just doesn't make sense to me, Kevin. I'm not football smart enough yet to call plays for an NFL offense. I'm not there yet.
I don't know.
But I can tell you that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Cole Kmet is not bad after the catch, but guess what? I have guys that are better than him, and I also probably have plays or at least something, a motion, a fake, a spin, something to allow my offensive lineman extra time to get all the way from the right fucking hash all the way to the numbers on the other side of the field. It doesn't make sense to me. It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
It shouldn't, bro. I mean, everyone in this chat, we've all played Madden before, right? And I know the thought has crossed everyone in this chat. The thought has crossed your mind. You could call plays on Madden better than what Luke Etsy's calling right now. I could. This is what we'll do, man. I go up on 3rd and 2, right? I got the controller right here. 4 slants. I've never needed a slant more in my life, Kellen. Like have we run a slant all year? Like I'm honestly curious. Like I don't think we've run a slant. Like and you watch the best offenses, and they kill you on slants. They kill you. Stephon Diggs and the Bills will kill you. The Chiefs will kill you. And when you get into 3rd and short, it should be simple for you. It should be easy, right? Because there's so many, and this is what's frustrating is you have a quarterback who can. You should be designing runs in those situations, first of all, a good amount of
rollouts
rollouts or something, right? Because you have a quarterback who already is going to make it hard for a defense when it comes to 3rd and short, right? Like when you play against the Baltimore Ravens, there's so much to think about. Just defensively, you have so much to think about because not only do they have a really good offensive line and a good running game, they've got Lamar who can do whatever you want. He can also throw the ball, and they got, a great tight end who gets open and a great play. You say you don't really like Greg Roman, but it's good enough, right? And when it comes to the Bears, it's just like if I were a defense, I should feel threatened, right? I should feel very nervous and confused about what that team on the other side of the field could possibly do with the type of player that they have at the quarterback position and the good running game that they have. And it just doesn't feel like it just feels like the defense always is one step ahead. They always understand what's coming, and it's never an issue. And that's just, it's so frustrating because it's just taken away from, the talent of Justin Fields. And here's Mike on the mic saying, Colin, are you busy on Sundays? Come on, Kellen. Let's get a phone call in there. All right. I say, I know a guy His name's Kellen Garrison. He can save the Chicago Bears by tomorrow or by Sunday.
Give me the damn job. Give it to me at this point. I mean, shit. I might not be the most qualified, but I'll tell you what. I'll get Justin Fields double-digit completions. I'll get him double-digit completions consistently because we haven't had that yet.
You know what's funny though?
I'm not talking about just screen passes either. I'm talking about real concepts, real throws to the sticks and past the sticks, and slant patterns.
It's funny because if people actually listen to the show and kind of, had a base knowledge of who you are and your experience and your breakdown. If you guys haven't watched our breakdowns, watch our breakdowns. Yeah, show promo. Yeah, good for me. But there's actually I don't even think people would be upset with that if they were just like, yeah, I'd rather have Kellen call the plays for a week. Honestly, this is where the Bears fan base is at. They don't even care. They'd rather just send out an armchair coach with a Madden controller, and they have that fan controlled league.
Yes.
I think Johnny Manziel was involved in that, where the fans the fans vote and call the plays.
Right.
Why don't the Bears just do that? I think the Bears should just incorporate that. The fans call the plays, and that way, if it doesn't work, then the fans can shut up about it. But if it does work, let's go. Let's go. Fans know. Let's go. Yep. This is the solution.
Yeah, man. I just wouldn't make it that hard. And in the NFL, there's just so much. There's a lot to overcomplicate, but it just shouldn't be that damn hard. Fuck. It just shouldn't. It's not happening I think Rodgers was elsewhere, man. Because Nathaniel Hackett it's not like he's been great. I think the Broncos won. I didn't really see what happened with them, but they
lost to the Raiders.
Oh, they lost?
Yep, they lost.
Oh my God, they got 23 points. Good for them. Okay, so that's way better. So fuck them. Nathaniel Hackett sucks, and his underling was guess who? Luke Getsy. Let's assume they suck. Let's assume that they're both not good, right? Then that becomes a problem, right? But at least we're seeing that you cannot conform your talented quarterback, who doesn't matter what you think about Justin Fields. It doesn't, because his skill set is irreplicable in the NFL. There are some guys who can do similar things. There's Lamar who does what he does. There's Kyler. There's Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is not as twitchy, as explosive, has the open field acceleration. And quite frankly, Jalen Hurts is not as accurate naturally. He might be now because he's got time in the offense and he's got a good system around him. But just as coming out of college, they were not the same player. And even, Josh Allen has, all these guys have their own style, but regardless, there's guys that are in the same tier with each other. There's like Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jared Goff. They're all the same. You can't convince me. They'll never get you to the Super Bowl.
Never.
You can put them in the same offense and what Kevin O'Connell's doing some really good stuff in Minnesota right now. I know Justin Jefferson struggled in weeks 2 and 3, but that offense is not that bad. They're pretty dang solid, as a matter of fact. Look at what Mike McDaniel is doing. Maybe we just picked from the wrong tree. Mike McDaniel is doing a solid job down in Miami with the play calling. Because there really wasn't a drop off with going from Tua to Teddy. Tua is obviously the guy for them, and I pray that Tua is going to be okay, going forward. But there really wasn't a drop off. Come on, man. Come on. It's the same damn tree, but we're stuck with Green Bay guys. We should fucking hire from Green Bay, man.
Bro, they sabotaged us, bro. This is what Rodgers did. He made them look good, and then this is his whole plan, bro. Oh my God, he really does own us. He does own us. He made Getsy look good, and then made us hire him, and then now he just sucks. Are you fucking kidding me? Here's the question though, right? So you talk about this. You talk about Minnesota. Their offense looks great. You talk about Miami. Kellen's upset, man. He's not happy after I came up with that idea that Rodgers 2000 IQ play. We got outplayed by Aaron Rodgers. We just got 90'd and one pump to the dome by Rodgers. Just got double check. what I was going to say was, you mentioned Miami, you mentioned Minnesota, and the two things that those two teams have in common is extremely elite wide receivers.
Yes.
Justin Jefferson, I think, is probably, I would imagine, the offensive player of the year this year. If he continues to, he had a couple of down games, but he should be the offensive player of the year. And in Miami, Tyreek Hill is just an absolute game breaker. And then, so is Jalen Waddle. So the question is, because for a lot of Bears fans, it's, well, how much of it is the offensive play calling versus, the lack of personnel? So really the question I have for you is this: how much would it say Justin Jefferson is put on the Bears offense? Like, how much really changes? If Justin Jefferson were on the Chicago Bears, how much would this offensive passing unit change?
It should change a lot, would it? I don't know. I just don't know because
of the play calling, or why?
Because like I'm already seeing, like, not Darnell Mooney's not Justin Jefferson, he's not, but he's still good enough to replicate some of the things. They have similar skill sets. Darnell Mooney is a violent route runner. Darnell Mooney is pretty solid with the ball in his hands. He's twitchy. He can make people miss. He can catch passes at all three levels of the field. Has Darnell Mooney even been in motion at the snap this season? Have we seen that? Like, and I've missed basically the entire Green Bay game and damn near all of the Houston game because I had games to play myself. But like, has that happened? Is there any use of motion? Is there any use of decoy? Is there anything that like separates like that? It's not happening. So like, but that's what you're seeing with Justin Jefferson. You're seeing emotion at the snap. You're seeing ball go this way, play go this way, flow this way, pass concept the other way, Like, I don't know if it would change. It should change. It should look different because a guy like that, no doubt, makes your offense simply better because that's what, I mean, I know the Dolphins got a little bit better up front in this offseason, but the biggest change obviously is having the most dynamic receiver and maybe the best receiver in football on your team. And their offense looks completely different. That's what's, that's like a big difference. The same thing with the Bengals last year. T. Higgins was hurt for most of 2020, if I remember correctly. And then you had Jamar Chase, who I've already said what I had to say. He's a top 5 receiver in the game, in my opinion. They might be, the best wide receiver combo in football. Maybe not right now because I think Waddle and Hill are, pretty damn good. But there's a lot of good receivers. It doesn't matter. Like they're up there, and we're seeing great things with all of them. And let's take like Devontae and AJ Brown. Devontae has been a little bit down, but like that offense is still humming because they have guys that threaten and they use them in threatening ways. There's nothing threatening about throwing the screen pass to Cole Kmet after the first time, especially when it worked the first time. There's like, it's just not something you should double call in a game. Like, and you have the big ass play sheet. You're an NFL team. You should have a bunch of plays that your team could run on a week-to-week basis. I'm not saying that you're going to run all of them because that's just not how football works. But like, come on, man. There should just be so much more that I'm seeing in ways that, like, damn, man. Like, again, not to bring Nagy up because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to praise Matt Nagy. But there were some things in 2018 that were pretty damn fun, like having 2 quarterbacks in the field at the same time. I'm not saying that was like that's what made the offense better. It's not, but like there was some creativity. There were fun ways to get Tariq Cohen the ball and Taylor Gabriel, who was a speedster, the ball. There were fun ways to get Anthony Miller, who, I know Anthony Miller didn't work out for us, right? And we all know how I feel about Anthony Miller. But like that guy, when he's healthy, is a damn good route runner in the NFL. And he was the Bears' leading receiver. He was Bears' touchdown receiver in his rookie year. Like we were getting that guy the ball. Yeah, Tevin Jenkins should be a full-time starter, by the way. He should start at guard. He should start at guard.
And this is, and it's so like people are already projecting 2023, myself included, because how can you not? I mean, after that game, I'm already, I admittedly, was looking at free agent wide receivers. I was, starting to do a little bit more research on Kayshon Boutte and, other wide receivers in the class, right? Because that's the reality of it. Like the reality, we always knew. I mean, and I'm not rolling back anything I said. Like Kellen and I still believe that
we should still be 3-1. We don't have great personnel, but we should be 3-1 right now.
100% correct. I mean, there's a winnable game against the Giants. Like, don't act like the Bears got blown up by 30. Like, a couple things go right. If you're not inept, you win that game, right? You should be 3-1. If you're not inept against Green Bay, that game's, or if the refs call that a touchdown, like, again, that game's a lot closer. Like, the Bears are not getting blown out, and that's something to remember. It's not an excuse, but it's something to remember, right? So that's something really important. But I start to think about, the receivers in the class and the offensive linemen, and I ask you, if you were to choose, right? You got red pill, blue pill. Red pill is, allocating a majority of your resources to offensive skill players, and blue pill is allocating a majority of your resources to offensive linemen and protection. Which pill are you taking? We actually have someone who joined up after this.
The receivers. I think I'm going to take the receivers, yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree, because you have young talent at the line. You don't have any young talent at the receiver position outside of Darnell Mooney. I mean, you got Equanimeous St. Brown on a 1-year deal. You got Byron Pringle on a 2-year deal. You've got, N'Keal Harry on a 1-year deal, right? Like, you don't have any young pieces. Velus Jones Jr. is the only other one to build upon. So, Krista has joined.
Krista, what's up?
Let's bring Krista in here. See what Krista has to say. They're in the stream with audio only, and I think they left. Bye, Krista. If Krista wants to rejoin, go ahead. If you are in the chat, if you're watching this and you want to make your voice heard, you got a hot take, a question, you just want to let it all out. This is Bears Nation Tuesday Night Therapy. Click the link on our Twitter and in our bio. Hop on in, and we'll talk to you. We'll have a nice, good conversation. Light a candle. Light something else if you really want to. Drink a beverage, whether it has alcohol or not, up to you. But this is a safe space for everyone. If you can't score a TD, we're done, says Tiff Tiff. Well, the premise of football is to score touchdowns.
To score more points than the other team, absolutely. That's the premise of the game.
4th and 2, down by 8 with 3 minutes to play, and we punt. Bears doing bong hits at halftime.
And 3rd and 2, we ran right up the middle. And, it's just like acting as if, like, Dexter Lawrence is actually a very solid defensive lineman, as if we didn't know, like, he didn't destroy our interior line the whole game. But, like, and anyway, while I'm complaining about the offensive line, here's why I say the receivers while we're on this and wait for people hopefully to join, is because, like, in the NFL, you're not always going to see guys open, which is an area where Justin is going to have to grow. But you need to have trust that those guys will be there when that stuff happens. When, a guy is bearing down in your face, you're trying to get the ball out in 2.5 to 3 seconds, and that guy, he's not open yet, but maybe he's making a break. Maybe if it's an even relieving situation, that all is going to come, hopefully. But you need to have guys that can separate in those situations. And right now, Dante Pettis is not really that guy yet. Who was the other receiver that wasn't Mooney? Was it EQ St. Brown? I don't even fucking know who it was. We're trying, but they're just not there yet. And maybe, like, Justin just needs to just hang in and, like, let it rip. And yeah, he does need to do that. Maybe he just needs to hang in and let it rip. But, like, he's 23, he's the franchise, and I'd rather not have him take the hits. It's hard to develop a guy when there's A-gap pressure in his face as soon as the ball is snapped. And where's you retweeted it. It was like he was pressured on 51%.
Oh, I read it yesterday. I think I deleted the note. Crap. Okay, so he was pressured on like 56% of his dropbacks. Okay, on plays where he wasn't pressured, on plays where Justin Fields wasn't pressured, had a clean pocket, he was 10 for 14 for 168 yards, and I believe a 98 passer rating. Like, I know Justin doesn't want to say stats tell the story, but in that case, stats tell the story.
And it's not like, so I said that stat like yesterday at practice, and one of my linemen was like, well, clean pockets are not always going to happen. And he's absolutely right. But when we talk about clean pocket, we're talking about like something that may be collapsing, but something that's like throwable in. Like, this is not Sam Mustipher getting blown back 4 yards in 2 seconds. That's not what clean pocket is. Nobody can throw with that. So maybe for Justin Fields, maybe what I said was just wrong. Maybe it should be the O-line. I'm going to stick to the receivers because it's what I said and it's what I believe. But, like, shit, the guy was throwing lasers. That first ball to Mooney was right on his face mask. It was right on his face mask. And even that one might have been able to be completed a little bit sooner. But regardless, that deep one to Mooney, the one that was like, he had like 75 yards in his first 2 completions.
I know.
And then we just, like, we just didn't do anything the rest of the game. I don't understand it. Also, no, you have to I know Kyler. I know I kind of hyped up Kyler Gordon. I still believe Kyler Gordon can be good, but you have to let him fail as a rookie. I mean, that's how corner works in the NFL. AJ Terrell. AJ Terrell got burned a lot as a rookie, and he's a top 5 corner in the game now. You know what I mean? So
we're already seeing that with Okudah this year. He looks a lot
better.
Exactly.
Exactly. You know,
we have a guest.
Corner's hard. Oh, we got a guest. Let's go.
This is my guy Nate. He's got the candle. Oh, Nate.
You both are missing the biggest point. You're both
What's
missing
the biggest point, Nate? What's the biggest point, Nate?
The Bears have not been the same since Johnny Knox got folded in half. Is the spirit of the Bears just straight up left when he got folded like a pancake. Shout out Johnny Knox.
Hey, don't do him like that, Nate.
All love the Johnny Knox. My homie got a picture with Johnny Knox, but I had to light the candle for Johnny Knox and the Bears because, man.
You know, Nate, I don't know. I didn't know what you were gonna say. I didn't know what the candle was for, but you could have gave me 1,000 guesses, and it would not have been for Johnny Knox. So well done for keeping me on my toes. And yes, I miss Johnny Knox.
It's the main thing. And I mentioned Devin Hester earlier. I mean, Julius Peppers, we no longer have him. That's been tough for us.
He hasn't watched a game since 2012. You're like these boomers that come on the radio. Well, we need Decker back. We need Grossman in
Sayers left. It's been rough. It's been rough.
Is this Virginia McCaskey talking to us right now?
Yeah, that's exactly who it is. Oh my God, dude. Now, here's the question you have to ask yourself. Put Johnny Knox on this offense, and Fields is leading the league in passing this year.
Oh,
bring back Johnny.
All the passes are going. All the slants. Man, it doesn't even. Hail Mary every play. Hail Mary.
4 verts.
No more
Nano CBD in the chat. No more MK Ultra for Dave. Oh my God.
It's a great point, though.
R.I.P. Johnny Knox. Hey, and there actually is truth to moments like that, like deflating a franchise. Like I think we had. I think this is again. What's that?
You think I'm just capping?
Like, no, you know. I know this is what you really believe it. This is how you truly feel. I mean, you haven't watched a game in 8 years, so you know.
I have.
When was the last time you watched a game, Nate?
2008.
Nice.
God, I don't even know who the court. Well, obviously,
that was probably Kyle Orton. I think that was Orton.
Had to be.
I think Cutler came in 9.
Bring back Kyle Orton. Bring him back, man. Hey,
Kyle Orton or Trevor Siemian?
Gotta take Orton. Check Bears Facebook. They'll tell you. Kyle Orton for sure. Oh man, light a candle for Johnny Knox. I wonder what that guy's doing. Honestly, that's a great point.
I hope he's good.
He's walking.
He's good,
which
too.
is great. It's good.
Yeah.
To hear.
Casey says it was Rex Grossman in 2008.
Was it?
I don't know if that's true, but he probably just fact checked it. So I don't know. Nate, can you watch the game this week? Maybe that's what we're missing, bro. Nate hasn't watched a game in 14 years. Bro, put your eyes on the screen and we're not losing a game. What are we doing here, bro? You're a good luck charm.
I will. You know what? I will watch the game. I'll watch the game. And yeah.
Will you? You promise it to me right now? You watch the game. You come over.
I'll watch the game.
All right, let's go.
Even though none of my favorite players are playing, man, I miss Robbie Gould.
54 is not Urlacher?
It's Robbie Gould.
What's going on? Hey, respect Michael Badgley though for hitting 4 field goals last week. You know, a day
and
after
then getting cut.
Yeah, bro probably had to stop his shift at Walmart. You know, go play a game for the Bears, kick 4 field goals, and then go back to his shift at Walmart on Tuesday. They cut him from the practice squad the day after. Bro scored all of our points and got cut from the team the next day.
Yeah, that's not a good look. Unfortunate.
Nate, I just will prepare you. If you're gonna watch the game on Sunday, bro, it ain't gonna be fun. It ain't gonna be it's gonna be painful. So
I'll be watching it on the clock, so I'll be making cash.
There you go.
Cash. Wow.
Consolation.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. And then you can make that cash and then put it on Darnell Mooney over receiving yards this week. This is how we win. If you haven't realized, this show, Bears Nation Podcast, powered by BetStamp. Use our code Bears in the shop, and you can get a free referral. And it is an incredible app. Nate's pointing to it right now. It'll help you win some money, and we all desperately need it. Again, that's code Bears. Bears Nation Podcast, powered by BetStamp. Download the app and use our code and get all the insights for your betting needs. But man, Nate, appreciate you lighting the candle for Johnny Knox. You are the man. And if we win this week and you're watching the game, we got a good luck charm here, and it ain't stopping.
I need my cut. I need my cut.
Pay the man. Pay all the right. Man.
Great show, guys. Great show.
All right. See you later, buddy.
You, Nate.
That was my guy, Nate, the best in the business. Hilarious guy. I love it. If you guys are in the chat and you want to be like Nate, please join in. Casey, I know you're dodging it. I sent you the link. I know you're dodging it. Get up in here. Tiff, we don't know who you are. Get up in here. Nano CBD, get up in here. What are we doing? Let's go. Johnny Knox will be 36 on November 3rd. Will he? Wow. Good for him, man. Good for Johnny Knox. We'll have to wish him happy birthday. Maybe I'll actually reach out to him about getting on the pod. I think he'd want to do it.
That would be pretty cool.
TD? I'm okay if we lose. I just want Justin to throw a TD. Yeah. I mean, it sure would make a loss feel a lot better if Justin threw a couple TDs.
Multiple TDs, please. Not just one.
Man. And guess what? Here's the thing. Tiff says, I'm okay if we lose. I just want Justin to throw a TD. If Justin throws a couple TDs, they ain't losing. Like, people always, again, the conversation is, A or B, development of Justin Fields or, winning football games. There's a correlation.
Yeah.
Good play by Justin Fields, allowing him to throw more, leads to more wins. Allowing him to do things he wants to do, developing your quarterback leads to wins. Like, it's not one or the other. There's a correlation. I'm so sick of that narrative. And it's just so frustrating. So if you want to see Justin Fields throw TDs, guess what? We too. And guess what? We too, us too. It leads to wins. So do the Lions really pick up Badgley? That's hilarious. And FYI, guess who's above the Lions in the division rankings? Your Chicago Bears. It ain't over.
Bears.
We're in the hunt, Kellen. We're in the hunt.
It's only 4 games, man. There's a lot left to play. There's 13 more games to play.
We're in the hunt. The
Vikings
will humiliate the current Bears team from Nano CBD. The newly named Minnesota Vikings, because they won in London. But I don't.
They got lucky, by the way.
They kind of did. Andy Dalton was the quarterback, and they snuck it out with a game-winning. Or did they hit a game-winning field goal?
Yes.
Is that what happened?
No. The Saints missed the game-winning. Saints missed the game-tying field goal.
Double doinked it.
Yeah, they did.
Oh my God, the trauma, Kelly. Oh my God, I heard that sound, bro. I heard that sound, and I was sitting in my chair. I fell out of my chair. I'm not kidding. I heard that sound, and I bad thoughts, bro. PTSD.
Yeah.
Bad thoughts, man.
It's hard. It's hard being a Bears fan. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do.
We gotta get Krista back up in here. I don't know why Krista's dodging us now.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Come back in.
Maybe we scared her off. Yeah, not good.
Wait, it was
here.
What were you saying?
I was gonna say, let's say me and you are in charge of the offense, Kevin. All right, let's say me and you are co-OCs. Let's say you're the run game coordinator, I'm the pass game coordinator. It doesn't really fucking matter. I'm just mixing it up at this point. But what are we fixing? So I said let's get our playmakers the ball in space better. Needs a bit more motion. What's your take, Kevin? What do we need to do to make this offense put the damn ball in the end zone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, totally. Because this here at Bears Nation Podcast, we're in the business of solutions, right? This is a solution oriented podcast. This is what we do. Okay. We're here to help you out. We're here to find solutions. And there are solutions. And to put the ball in the end zone feels like the world's most impossible thing with this football team. It just feels like it's way harder than it should be. But again, it doesn't have to be that hard. And the first thing that I would do, Kellen, like if I'm being dead ass, like I know you don't have receivers of this type, but if you're inside the 10, watch what the Buccaneers did to Mike Evans when they're inside the 10. One-on-one, everyone on earth knows it's one-on-one, and everyone on earth knows where the ball is going. And I don't care. Throw a fade ball to Equanimeous St. Brown. The guy's got a little bit of size. Like, to me, you just have to take your chances on your guy beating another man and man-to-man, right? Like, I haven't gone back and watched it, but if I were defenses, like I'd be totally comfortable playing man against the Bears. Like no one's beating you in man right now. I mean, maybe Darnell can, but again, like if you remember, the Bears offense from 2018, right, which was a relatively decent red zone scoring offense. Like what did that team do that this team can't do? Allen Robinson slant route from the slot, touchdown, easy. A throw that Mitch Trubisky can make as a throw that Justin Fields can make. And also utilizing Justin's legs in a way that isn't, not designed by the defense or by plays breaking down. So that's my solution, is just go ahead and just take one play. I don't care, right? Like I was actually okay with it when they did this with Jimmy Graham earlier in the year. Not early in the year. Fuck me. Last year and years prior. Like when they were in the red zone, I was like, dude, and it worked a decent amount of times. Like at some point it got old and it stopped working because Jimmy Graham got old. But it was just, look, your quarterback has limitations, right? At that point, hopefully he can just throw the ball up and at a point high enough where he gives his receiver a chance. Justin can do that. And that's what needs to happen. And it's not just, let him go for a jump ball. Like Darnell Mooney's a crafty enough route runner to get open on certain, corner routes or post, corner routes in the corner of the end zone. Like watch CeeDee Lamb. He's a guy that does this a lot. Like CeeDee Lamb is not, I wouldn't say a top contested catch receiver, but the defense knows that they're probably going to target him, and he still needs to get open because he's just an incredible route runner. And they do this with Justin Jefferson too, right? Like that's my solution. That's like the first, like this is very, very basic, right? Because it's just the things we're not seeing the basic things in my opinion. And that's just what we need to see. But what's your solution?
Yeah. Everyone be better. Fuck, I don't know. But it's just like I said, man, like some things just shouldn't be that hard, and there needs to be an empathy. Like you don't win games by playing how the Bears are playing on offense right now. Matt Eberflus, I know we criticize, everyone criticized the Bears defense on Sunday, and like most of it rightfully so. Yes. But damn it, like 20 points in the NFL, like you should be able to score more than that more often than not, especially against the New York Football fucking Giants. You should be able to score more than 20. But regardless, Matt Eberflus is, so far what we've seen, the defensive staff is fantastic at making halftime adjustments, because guess what? They still have not given up a defensive touch. They still haven't given up a touchdown in the second half.
It's incredible.
So why can't the offense do the same? Why can't they be like, hey, what we're doing is not working, so let's try something a little bit different. Let's try to get Justin to throw outside the numbers in between 12 and 16 yards. Let's like Luke Getsy should have a call sheet. He should have a section on his call sheet, and it should be labeled like throws that Justin made in college a lot.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
Go watch Ohio State tape and go watch the throws he made. Now, granted, and this is always the thing people say with Ohio State quarterbacks, and it's such a fucking stupid thing. Well, he was throwing to open receivers. So is Joe Burrow. So is almost every other.
Watch Patrick Mahomes, bro. Watch Tua.
So was Zach Wilson. So is Tua. Everyone was doing that shit, man. Everyone was doing that shit. But like they're go to the Nebraska game, like everything from 2020, everything from 2019, like the guy was dead on, dead ass accurate. I don't think it's Flus that's the problem, because I think that the offense is all in Getsy's hands. Like I think Flus kind of like oversees it, but I don't think it's not like a Belichick situation where like he lets his coordinators work and he has a big foot in the door, like on both sides. I think it's kind of like a thing where he's like, Luke, I hired you. This is your offense. You handle it. Now, eventually he might have to step in, but I mean, what is he going to do? We don't know. But this is why, like, Luke Getsy has to look himself in the mirror, or like they need to sit down, like him, Chris Morgan, Tyke Tolbert, Andrew Janako, and Flus. Like, they all need to sit down and like, we have to fix this. Otherwise, we will lose our jobs. Like I hope they're in that room right now and they know that they are all on track to get fucking fired. They are all on track to get fired right now. They are going to lose their job. They're going
Not
to have to move.
Flus.
No, not Flus, but I'm talking about the offensive staff. The offensive
100%.
staff.
100%.
They are all on track to get fired. Their families are going to have to move. They're going to have to sell their home. They're going to have to pack boxes. I hate moving. It's the worst thing in the world. They're all going to have to do that if they don't change something. They have to figure it out. But like, I don't know what's going on in that room, because I think, again, this is the same thing with Nagy. A lot of the design is not great right now, because a lot of it is trying to, like, I'm trying to be a guru. Fuck being a guru. You know what? Lorenz, he might watch this, he might not. But my old podcast
Lorenz better watch.
Lorenz loves Kirby Smart. And Kirby Smart always says in his clinics, everybody wants to be a goddamn guru. But winning football games is about blocking and tackling and having good football players. It's damn so being a guru. That's why Lincoln Riley hasn't won a college football playoff game, because I'm an offensive guru. He hasn't done shit. He's taken advantage of having great football players on offense like Kyler Murray and College Baker Mayfield and Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews and CeeDee Lamb and guys like that, and Charleston Rambo. Like, that's how he won football games. And I know the Bears don't have that personnel, but like, damn that. Like, let's just line up and try to get our best players the ball, because Darnell Mooney is going to win against a lot of corners. Like, Correct. He's going to beat a lot of guys. Correct. Justin Fields is going to out-athlete a lot of guys on the defensive side of the football field. We're running the ball fine. That's fine. We don't need to worry about that. But, like, shit, man. Like, can we use some motion? Can we just, like, damn it. It just shouldn't be this hard.
This is therapy, Kellen. Let it out, bro. Let it out. It's okay. It's gonna be okay, man. It's gonna be okay. They can't be this inept, right? Like, it can't continue, right? Well, guess what? It can, Kellen, because we've seen it. All right. Luke Getsy looks himself in the mirror and he sees a man with a visor and a bald head.
BU, and it says BU right here in his fucking chest.
Nano CBD says Krista is here. Go on live, Krista. Yeah, Krista. Why aren't you going live? What is all this? Yeah, he's got a BU on this chest. Nano CBD really doesn't like Flus, man. This is the comment. He's against him. And here's again, this is an important take, honestly, because I've seen this a lot, especially after last week. I don't know if you saw that photo of Dable and Fields meeting at midfield after the game, and it's like Dable's got his arm around Fields' head, and Fields is just the widest smile, and Dable's got like this little smirk.
I did not see that picture.
And everyone is like, what could have been, right? This is what could have been. And I'm like, first of all, it's too early to give up on Flus. Like, let's make this known, right? We're here to make you feel better about the Bears and the coaching staff, and it's way too early. I mean, we've already seen good things from an adjustment standpoint. I still think the development of players, there's still something to be said about Jaquan Brisker and the steps that Eddie Jackson has taken, and how good Roquan Smith has looked.
We haven't even talked about Eddie Jackson,
right? And I want to get to that. There are things to be said about that, but here's the thing I want to bring up, right? Because everyone, the immediate comparison for the Bears for the next 3 years, if the Giants keep winning football games, is going to be Brian Dable, right? Oh, what could have been? Brian Dable, the Giants winning football games were not. Their offense looks relatively okay. They did some good things. But I would, if you are a team who's going to fire your head coach, I'm trying to think of the teams that are going to be out of head coaches this year. I mean, Josh McDaniels might get fired after the year. I would completely stay away from hiring a coach where the top thing on their resume is the development of another quarterback, right? Because year after year, you see it. You see, this is what people want now, right? This is why the Bears hired Matt Nagy. Was look what he did to Patrick Mahomes. Look how that worked out for us, right? And now for us this year, it was look at Luke Getsy. Look what he did to Aaron Rodgers. Can he do that to Justin Fields? And for Brian Dable, it's look what he did to Josh Allen. But did you see a single step back from the Bills offense? No, in fact, they look better. Okay. Mm-hmm. Stop hiring offensive coordinators solely because they were in the same room as a quarterback who had success. And part of it, Kellen, the thing that I said yesterday was a lot of that in those situations is, and I think someone said it earlier, it might've been Nano CBD, that in a lot of instances, the quarterback serves as like 50% of the offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? Like Aaron Rodgers, you think Aaron Rodgers isn't in Matt LaFleur's ear in those meetings saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do it my way because I'm Aaron Rodgers and we're going to do it my way. You think Josh Allen's at a point in his career where he can say that? You saw Patrick Mahomes and Eric Bieniemy fighting. Why? Because Patrick Mahomes wants it done his way. And that's how it's going to go. And I don't think Justin Fields is in a position to do that yet. But this whole idea of hire X coach because he worked well with X quarterback, to me, is a completely flawed way of thinking.
Yeah, you just
weird. Yeah,
you have to. That was you just have to. Krista's in the chat. What's she doing?
Krista, I don't know. She's dodging us, man. It's kind of crazy.
But
crazy.
You just have to like. I don't know what it's like to be interviewed as a coach yet. I probably will eventually, like pretty soon in the next couple of years. But like, you have to have a plan. There has to be a plan, and I would love to know what the plan was in the interview. When Matt Eberflus sat Luke Getsy down and said, "Why should I hire you as the offensive coordinator of my football team?" And I pray to God, because I take Eberflus, I give Eberflus credit. I think he's a good guy and a good coach. I think he is. I pray to God that Luke Getsy's answer was, here's how we're going to do it, and it's going to center around this guy named Justin Fields, and this is what I'm going to do. Now, I hope that was what he said. Now, if that was what he said in the plan that was put together for that is what we're seeing right now, that plan might have to change, but the goals should not.
Correct.
You might have to realize that this is not working. What I learned with Aaron Rodgers, who was a top 2 quarterback talent of all time, might not work with my young guy who does not have a great receiving core and great offensive line and is a newly wedded captain to the greatest fan base in all of football. Yes, I said it. I know the Bills fans jump through tables before games on Sundays. I know Browns fans have been through a lot, but I would take my fan base over any fan base in America. It just, you have to realize that like sometimes your stuff is not working and there might need to be a change.
That's so true. That is so true.
Do different things. And that's what got Matt Nagy fired, right? Is his willingness to be like, I'm going to call plays. I am going to run this. I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. You know what I mean?
The best quality you can have is both a player, a person, a coach, is the ability to adapt and the ability to handle adversity, right? Those are the 2 biggest qualities for the greatest players that ever play the game, the greatest coaches that ever coached the game in any sport. I don't care if it's football, basketball, baseball, soccer, tennis, hockey, volleyball, water polo.
It's all the same. It's all the same.
It doesn't matter. I don't care what sport you play. Lacrosse, that's not a sport, so we're not going to include that one. But you know, I did that for my boy Mike, who's about to come in here. It's just not. We're not gonna indulge in that conversation. But you got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to handle adversity. And right now, the Bears are facing adversity, and that's why I think you could learn a lot in the next couple of weeks about, you know, we believe this team is so tight knit, and they're sliding in the water after the 49ers, and they look like a team. They look like they're ready to go. You know, if you're a tight knit group and you're going to fight for each other, I want to see it, right? I want to see a little bit more fight than what we saw last week. Let's bring in my guy, Mike Hughes from the ASAP Network. He covers the Sky for the Chicago Sky, and he does a Bears podcast. He does it all. Mike, you're here. Tuesday Night Bears Therapy. Thanks for hopping in. How are we feeling? Are you feeling okay now? Did we make you feel a little bit better? What's going on?
I was doing great, bro, until the lacrosse comment.
I'm sorry. It had to be said. I just had to be said. Am I wrong, Mike? Am I wrong?
I mean, listen, as the bastard child of an athlete who played both baseball and lacrosse, I plead the fifth because I'm in the middle of a war. I'm in the middle of a war I didn't even know I was a part of. So I'm just gonna mind my business. But I do appreciate you guys having me on.
What's up, man? Yeah. So again, we've been on here for an hour and 9 minutes. We're helping Bears fans out. Krista says she just needs some Tuesday Night Bears therapy right now, man. That's what the people need, because it's not a good time to be a Bears fan. And I made the case on the show on Monday that loss against the Giants was, I would say, a top 3 most painful loss in recent memory for the Bears. But Mike, where are you at with it, man? Like where are we at? This is a therapy session. We want to hear from you. We want you to just let it out. Let us know how we're feeling. Let's get the feelings going. You know what I mean? Let's get the emotions going. If you shed a tear, that's okay. That's why we're here. The tears are good, Mike. How are we feeling about the Bears right now, buddy?
I mean, man, I don't have any tears left. I mean, it's been 22 years, Kev. I don't have any tears left, you know? So, I mean, but top 3, I have it at 3. I think I don't remember the exact score. At 2, I have the Green Bay game last year where they dropped over 40 on us. That one was just awful. You know, it was one of those games. You know, we had Graham. I was super excited because Graham's my guy, and I really wanted to see him do his thing. But the rest of the defense just looked atrocious, and then obviously the double doink will always be at 1. But I'm not too hard on the Saints game. You know, it was kind of fun for me. I got to watch some guys fight. That was how my game was played. So I mean,
the playoff game.
Yeah, it wasn't too atrocious. I mean,
it was a playoff game. I mean, we were in a playoff game.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it was a SpongeBob atmosphere. The standard was low. Like
the MVP, bro. Come on, bro.
Come on, get it out, Kev. Get it out, Kev. We got it, baby.
Where is it?
I know it's there.
Baby. Come on, baby. MVP, turn me up, bro.
Bring him back.
How many MVPs are there in the NFL? I think they do one every week now, don't they?
I think there's a lot. I think there's
frauds though.
But yeah, man, it was the other day rather, was devastating, bro. But I got to talk my talk because me and you even had this conversation, bro. It was one of those things where, you know, Brian Daboll, watching him do his thing, a lot of people questioned if he had the ability to run the football because that's not something people typically saw in Buffalo. And I kept screaming, it's because Devin Singletary is 5'6". That's why we're not running the football. And you're seeing him go crazy with Saquon. I mean, Saquon's rejuvenating his career right now. A big part of that, I'm not going to say is Brian. A big part of that is Saquon just being healthy for the first time in a while, really doing his thing. But, you know, that's why I continue to tell you and I continue to say to everyone, as much as I love Matt, and it doesn't have to be Brian. I'm gonna change it up just so I don't have you blow a gasket. It doesn't have to be Brian, but the revolving door of offensive coordinators needs to stop, especially the underqualified ones. Like, why are we doing this?
You mean for the Bears?
Yeah, Jay Cutler has 6 offensive
because they can't find the right one, Mike. That's why, right? Like you're forced to be a revolving door because they're none of. I don't know.
Because who's your head coach?
Yeah, but that doesn't have you can have a head coach who's not offensive minded and still have success offensively.
But here's the thing, and here's how I've always broken down, and either of y'all can tell me where I'm wrong. I think it's a perfect understanding. You bring in Sean McDermott and you bring in Brian Daboll. Okay, cool. We can trust everybody to do that. We can have all these other defensive-minded guys, and we can find the right offensive coordinators. When you have Ted Phillips at the helm, and then a new GM who has to follow exactly what the owners want him to do, I mean, you have no other choice. You have no other choice but to do what we're doing right now. And it's just so frustrating because it's, you know, we can hire a John Fox. We can hire a Lovie Smith. We can hire a guy of that atmosphere like a Matt Eberflus, who me and you said it all day long. 4th and 2 by 8 with 3 minutes to go. Flus shits his diaper. Go, go, go. 100%. But, you know, I can't put that on Flus. I can't put that on Flus because you guys talked about it for the last hour and I was there for every minute of it.
Yeah, you were. You were, man.
I had to be there because I loved everything I was hearing, but it's one of those things where Flus steps in, and I forgot which one of you guys said it. Flus has to step in at some point. He's a DC. Step in and fucking do what?
I mean, his voice can be heard to an extent, right?
Your voice can be heard, but if it's not a good play, I don't want to hear it.
That's fair.
Like, that's what it is. And unfortunately, we don't have Jonathan Taylor. As much as I love Monty, as much as I love Herb, like we don't have Jonathan Taylor, so we just can't run up the middle for 90 yards.
Yeah, but I don't think that would really make a difference.
I agree.
I don't think it would.
I mean.
Yeah, not at all.
I don't think Flus needs to step in and like be the play caller. I think Flus needs. I think he needs to say like, this isn't working. We need something different because all the eyeballs are on us and our quarterback right now, and we're looking like we're failing. Like, and he doesn't need to say you are looking like you're failing, but that's what it is. Like, he can be like, look, my defense are good.
Yeah, 100%. And I just wrote an article for ASAP about it, and if you want to check that out, you definitely could. But you know, I was getting a bunch of mixed reviews on it, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna stand by it. And Kevin and I were on TikTok live on Sunday. With some pretty great people in the chat, and we had, it's the same conversation to me, and I wanted to get your take on it too. You know, it's something right now when you're in year one of a complete rebuild, it's just so different. It's so different. And that's why Justin's taking the heat, because typically you have one of the worst historic seasons you're ever going to have, and then you draft a quarterback. Unfortunately, Justin gets drafted, then the complete rebuild. Now you look like, instead of year two, let's break it down. So year one, Joe Burrow gets T. Higgins, he gets Boyd, he gets all these guys. Year two, I'm gonna give you Jamar Chase, a bunch of veterans for this defense. They're not going to be super talented, but they're going to be playoff experienced, and we're going to be able to do our thing. And that's going to be great. You look at, obviously we talked about the blueprint with Philly. You get A.J. Brown, you get Devontae Smith. Instead, for Justin Fields, it's okay, we're taking away Allen Robinson, which whatever.
Well, that's just fine. Go ahead.
Which is
Take
fine.
him away. That's fine. That's
right.
cool.
But we're taking away Jimmy Graham. We're taking away Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, and all these other guys. And by the way, here's a guy who's never been an offensive coordinator before. And good luck. Like I think it's such a disservice. And I loved whoever said it. He's an Ohio State quarterback. Okay, but Justin Herbert went to Oregon, so I don't care. Someone please tell me where Patrick Mahomes went. A casual fan cannot tell you where Patrick Mahomes went. Aaron Rodgers went to the state of California. You know what I'm saying though? Like these are schools that typically don't produce top tier quarterbacks. So I don't want to hear anything about Justin Fields as an Ohio State product, and that's why he's not going to succeed. That has nothing to do with anything at all.
Yeah. The people who make that argument are just that's.
I don't want to hear it. Because he's from Ohio State, that's his character for the rest of his life.
Yeah, you just don't take those people seriously, man.
Yeah, I can't.
People are jokes.
Does Krista really know Joe Burrow? Is that what we're doing here?
Call him.
Is that what we're calling him up? Call him up. Get on stream. Dial the phone up and call Joe Burrow on our stream. If you really know him, that's what if
Joe
you really want to stand by Joe Shiesty, you got to do it. Here's the problem. You talked about the timeline, right?
Right.
And it's never perfect this way. And Callan, I want to get your thoughts on this too. But like, it's just never ideal. And look, I'm not saying the Bears shouldn't have drafted Justin at the time, right? Like they had
to save their ass.
But if anything, the argument should be they should have fired the coaching staff the year before. That way, everyone comes in on the same time at the same page, right? Because a lot of the questions about, the doubt of the coaching staff and the doubt of the front office in Justin Fields is the fact that they didn't draft him, right? What allegiance do they have towards Justin Fields? Because they're not his draft pick. And the same goes for a lot of players on this roster. That's why a lot of people believe you're going to have a lot of roster turnover next year, not only because a lot of these guys are on one-year contracts, but a lot of them you didn't draft. So it's never a perfect situation when you have 1 year, under a really shitty regime and coaching staff that you can argue ruined him in a lot of ways, not completely ruined him. And then now you got to switch. And then now it's his third playbook and his third offensive system in 3 years. If you're including, the Ryan Day system in Ohio, which is a pretty complicated system to understand. Ryan Day system. What would you say?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see, so it's the timeline is not perfect, but it doesn't mean that, it's impossible to recover from that. But you think again about the best organizations, the ones that have very little turnover in their coaching staff, right? Like you think about the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs and, the New England Patriots, where I guess Bailey Zappi can just walk in and be fine, right? I mean, it's because it's fucking ridiculous, man, but there's no turnover, right? Like it's just everyone's on the same page. You come in, you're on the same page. You don't know if the guy's not going to be here next year. You just know that this is who it's going to be. I'm all in. We're all in on you. You're all in on us. It's a two-way thing. And boom, you go. And that's why those teams stay good. That's why the best team, that's why the Packers stay good. That's why the Chiefs and the Patriots and the Ravens, it doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter what quarterback it is, they stay good. So you make a great point when you talk about that. But man, Kellen, here's a question I have for you. There's a lot of people who now believe that the offensive system it's too much for Justin Fields. He can't figure it out. He's not cognitive enough to understand anything. He has no vision. He's missing guys all over the place. And to me, that's where I get confused, because this is not the Justin Fields that we saw in college. It's not the Justin Fields we even saw last year. Tell the people watching this who need the therapy why Justin Fields is capable of operating the offense and why that narrative that he's not cognitive enough or he just doesn't have the vision or the skill set to do it. Tell them why that narrative should be absolutely destroyed.
Well, I actually made a presentation about this, and I don't want to get too deep into it.
Bro? Is this like your senior thesis? Why?
It could be. it wasn't just with Justin Fields, but I'll get to the presentation in a minute. But like, he's like the NFL is so much different than college, and like what you learn, what you process, like your daily schedule. Like there's so many checks that are built into the NFL, which is why their play calls are so much longer, right? At the college and high school level, those guys go up tempo, they get signals from the sideline, they line up and go. It's just not that the NFL. It's such a big step up, and it is hard, like to go from that as a rookie. Like some guys have the transition better, whatever, it doesn't matter. But like we said, like to have it last year with Nagy and then to go this year, a whole new coaching staff, and maybe they're not teaching him that many different things because like we said, the offense doesn't really look that different. No. It's not like, what we're seeing a whole bunch of different formations, a whole bunch of different motions, a whole bunch of different looks. It's not like we're seeing that. So everyone chill out, relax. He'll be fine.
Tell him, chill out, bro.
Like what we need, like I said earlier, he needs to be able to throw without being able to see it open, right? And that's what every NFL quarterback, they refer to it as Sunday open, right? A guy is not open just because you see him open. Sunday open is not always what that is. And once he starts seeing that, he will be fine. But like, if it's too hard to see it, he won't succeed, which is why, like I said, with the receivers, if you ask me, would we have better receivers or better O-line? That's why I picked the receivers, because if it's hard as hell to see your guy open, doesn't matter how much damn time you have. If he's not going to get open, you're never going to see the window. And if you don't trust the window, you're not going to let it rip. You're going to take sacks. You're going to take extra hits. You're going to take off and run. That's just how it works. But my presentation was on not just Justin Fields, but on black quarterbacks in general.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, you did tell me about this.
Yeah,
this was good stuff.
I went way over like the time I was supposed to in the presentation, but that's what it was. And like you're gonna hear it probably like with Will Levis, like, and I think people are already making jokes about it. And like, Will Levis loves football. Will Levis loves the weight room. He loves the film room. He stays in there so long. And you're gonna hear stuff about like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud be like, oh well, I heard things that he's not really a team player. He doesn't, that's the essence of it. I think the media is doing a better job of saying that, but that's not the point. I think Justin will be fine. We got to get him some better receivers. We got to get him guys that can get open, more than just Darnell Mooney.
There you go, man. You have it. I look. The bottom line is, again, like, it shouldn't be this bad, right? And that's why I think people need to understand, right? It does feel like it's doom, right? Like that's what it feels like. Like it feels like. Because the bottom line is, I think I just said the bottom line like 4 different fucking times. I got to stop saying the bottom line, right? It's the fact that, you have players who obviously are in the lower tier of offensive skill personnel. You have offensive line protection that's in the lower tier, but it doesn't mean that you can't operate in a way that should be getting you 20 points. It doesn't mean you can't, score touchdowns in the red zone and only kick field goals. It doesn't mean that you can't go for it on 3rd and 2 from your own 38-yard line, right? Like this is like how much of it is the offensive play callers and the offensive staff recognizing that their talent is subpar and being cautious because of that, right? And to me, Kellen and Mike, that's the wrong way to think. Like if you are an offensive coordinator and you're a coach, you have to have I don't care how bad or good your guys are. You have to have full confidence in them to get you a first down on 3rd and 2. You just have to. That's the premise of the story is I don't care what you think of it. If you don't have confidence in your quarterback and your players, you're doing your job wrong. That's the bottom line. You're doing your job wrong if you don't have confidence in your young quarterback who's extremely talented and you don't have confidence in your players, right? Like and we don't see that. We don't see that confidence. And that's the biggest thing for me, because I've seen teams, man, we've all seen it. Like the Bears aren't the worst team to ever play football. Like this isn't the worst football team to ever step on a field. We've seen worse teams, and we've seen those worst teams take the Seattle Seahawks for one, put up 45 points because they just trust their players to do things. Pete Carroll just says, I have full trust in a bunch of guys who are just as much of no names as the Chicago Bears personnel are. And I'm going to have trust in them and they're going to do their thing. You're telling me Geno Smith is a better quarterback than Justin Fields? Is that what you're trying? Is that what is being told to me here? You know what I mean? Right. Like that's just the way I see it. Nano CBD, Thanks for the therapy, guys. He says I'm going back to Platinum Kush bong hits. Man,
I'm
I wish
glad
I
we
could
could be. I'm glad we could be some sort of equivalent to Platinum Kush bong hits. I'm
He's
glad
We
that
got
we
to
could
we got to
offer
give
some
a
sort of
round of applause for Nano CBD hopping in here.
100%.
Nano
100%.
CBD, we appreciate you. Mike, I imported all these little sound effects.
I
Just in
heard that.
case.
It kind of freaked me out at
Yeah.
first, but I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm with it for sure.
Say something wrong and you're getting booed. You're getting booed out here. Say something gangster. and-
Trubisky was the problem. No, I'm playing with you. I'm rocking with it.
Trubisky was a problem. Hey, that's a narrative that's going to be starting. Chris is saying goodbye to Nano CBD. Casey says, Dan Orlovsky said in a rant defending Justin Fields that Darnell Mooney has wide receiver 3 ability, which contributes to Fields' struggles. What y'all think? I think he has wide receiver 1 ability. I do. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's go high end wide receiver.
On what kind of team?
I mean,
are we talking like a championship caliber team? You think he's a wide receiver 1?
Let's put him on a championship caliber team. No, but
I think he's like Tyler Boyd on the.
Here's what sure. He's better than Tyler Boyd. Here's the way I put it: is with the Bears' current situation, he is serviceable enough as a wide receiver 1. Would he be a wide receiver 1 on the Cincinnati Bengals or on the Miami Dolphins or the Minnesota Vikings? No, but does it mean that he can't be productive in this offense and can't put up wide receiver 1 numbers in this offense? No, it doesn't. Like take Houston, for example, right? Like Darnell Mooney's not worse than Brandon Cooks. No. And Brandon Cooks is widely regarded as a wide receiver 1 because he's the only wide receiver in that offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take Marquise Brown in Arizona, right? Ooh. I mean, that's another great situation. Marquise Brown is a better player. He would have been great. But at the same time, like, is Marquise Brown that much better than Darnell Mooney? Like, be honest. Like, is he that much better?
I would give Darnell
just have a system that gets him open.
I would give Darnell the edge just because he can.
Would you really give him the edge?
I think Hollywood has too many drops in his career.
I agree. That's a great take, Mike. I think Hollywood can't fucking catch.
That's exactly why you just got traded. Like that's what it is. But Kevin, I wanted to throw this out to both of you guys. This is 2021 and Pro Football Focus. Take it with a grain of salt for what you think that is.
Oh God.
But this is where, for the first time ever, it helps Bears fans. I always look at it. I look at it for what it is. Right now, Justin Fields can't find a window. He can't throw the ball. He's incompetent. He's awful. We busting Fields. All the things we're hearing right now. And you look at it for what it is, though. Right now, if you look at the 2021 ranks of our current wide receivers, Darnell Mooney ranked 27th. I think that's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. I think that's a pretty solid, pretty solid place for him. All right, so we're gonna take a huge jump. St. Brown, 165th in the league. Pettis is 149. You have
Pettis is above St. Brown.
Yep. Marset. Marset is 170.
Guy who hasn't caught a football. He's 170. He's one slot below Equanimeous St. Brown. He hasn't caught a football this year.
And Jones is not, obviously he's not ranked, but obviously you wouldn't put him too high. But it's a conversation right now. Byron Pringle is ranked 50 going into 2021. Little generous to me because of Patrick Mahomes. That's just me. But I think there's a huge fall off right now between Bears fans and reality of what we have. And I think right now, and I wanted your take on this too. I know you're my Ohio State guy over there. I got 2 of my Ohio State guys in the sky. Yeah, they do their thing. But I think, when you guys have seen as much talent as you have, I'm going to keep it a stack. Have you seen better talent on an Ohio State field versus this?
I see it every day. Yes, I see it every day.
Exactly. So with that though, in all seriousness, with that, and obviously there's a lot of intangibles that go into that. But in all seriousness, when you look at it for what it is and what this team is, you understand what the process is. And I told this to Kev, and I've kind of danced around it because I understand we're not tanking for Tua. This isn't, a conversation where we're trying to get the number 1 overall pick. But there are guys at the beginning of the season and still currently, you look at OBJ, you look at Will Fuller, you look at Cole Beasley, Julio Jones, guys who
Beasley got signed.
Right. No, but I'm saying
earlier this year,
going into the beginning of the year, we had the money to overpay for those guys just on 1 year, 2 year deals. And the reason we don't do that is because exactly the situation Ryan Poles said we're going to be in. We're going to tear it down and we're going to do it the right way. And if you try to bring in guys, if you're signing Will Fuller to a 3-year deal just to go 6-11 this year, it makes no sense. So Ryan Poles, to me, looked at Eberflus, he looked at Getsy, he looked at Fields and said, listen, here's the product. Here's what I need you to work with. Make it work. This year is going to be awful, but there's a process. There's steps in place to make this thing go. And I think right now, as fans, what we're so horrible at, because things have been bad for so fucking long.
Yeah, you can't blame us. You just can't.
You can't, but you can't blame the kid who had nothing to do with it. Will Fuller is available right now. And I don't care whether
you think he's off a suspension. It was a 4-game suspension.
He's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Now, I don't know what needles he's been putting into his system lately, or what creatines he's been mixing at the export locker room, which I see on every single day. I was gonna name the export, but I'm not trying to do that. But I think it's blasphemy, bro, to sit here and say all these wide receivers were available, all these tight ends were available, and you brought in Ryan Griffin. And Cole Kmet's blocking 80% of the time is the game plan. There's so many things that go into it right now for me, to where you're going to look at Justin and be like, yo, you're not seeing these windows. No, bro, you're not seeing the bigger picture. We are supposed to be ass. And unfortunately, it's year 2. And that's the problem. If this happened last year, nobody says a word. Nobody says a word. And like you said, fire the coaching staff a year early, and we're already having this conversation. Last year, we're having this whole different conversation.
So here, Kellen, I'll answer this real quick. Here's what I'll say to that point. Okay. There's a healthy medium, right? Because what you're talking about with the veteran players and why aren't we signing them? Well, that's exactly what Ryan Pace did. And he overpaid for those guys, right? You know, that was a problem. And when Ryan Poles says, we're going to do this the right way, we're going to build this from the ground up, he's right. He has the right mentality, because if you want to start a good football team and be a good team for a very long time, you're talking about turning this into a good organization. Like, this goes beyond just being a good team to team. Right. This is about building an organization that isn't inept for the next 20 years, right? Like, screw your 3-year window. I think their goal, and it should always be their goal, is to transform this organization into a stalwart that year after year after year is never rebuilding, because the best teams in the leagues never do that, right? And doing that, the way to do that is to groom your talent, draft the talent you want, groom them, establish in each one of those guys, this is how we operate on a day-to-day basis. This is how we do those things. But at the same time, like, the teams that do that also do spend their money on players that are going to make the team better. Like, there is a healthy medium. You can do both. Right. And right now, I don't think he's doing both. Either that, or he kind of spent money on the wrong players. Like he spent money. And you have to remember that his financial situation was in hell.
It was bad.
It still is right, because Kellen mentioned earlier, they're still paying $45 million to players who aren't on the team.
They're paying all these other guys,
which is absolutely ridiculous. It reminds me like the Bobby Bonilla Met situation. They're still paying him $1 million a year up until 2035.
Hey, nah, it's never never gonna be that down bad, bro.
We might, Mike. Don't say that.
If Cody Parkey's still getting paid by 2045, we'll have a conversation about it. But that guy, shout out Bobby, man.
Shout out Bobby. But you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I do believe, because now, again, when things like this happen, like, you would think the Bears are 0-4 because everyone wants to tear down the organization and fire Ryan Poles. And now the conversation has slowly turned from the players to the coaches. Right. And when there's no answers, where does it go? It goes to the GM. Exactly. And now people have questions about Poles. I think, if I'm being honest, I like his man. I like the way he's running the team.
I love it.
I love the foundation that's being built, right? And now it's just like
Theo Epstein vibes. We talked about it a long time ago. Exactly what the Cubs did.
I made this analogy. You got to lay the sand. You got to lay the dirt before the sand, and then the sand before the brick, and then the roof on top of the brick.
That's
right?
a college man right there.
And what can I say, dude, man? I got a degree. Like, this is amazing. I could pull out my degree right now. I mean, what can I say? All right. I got a degree in journalism, right? It's not that impressive. But right now, they're just laying the dirt. They're not even on sand. They're not even on brick. They are just laying the dirt and the very base of a foundation of being a good organization. And when you're laying dirt, man, it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time. But if you can see that in the way that they play, and we didn't really see it against New York, but in general, we've seen it this year. They're playing hard. They're fighting for each other, and the young talent is developing. That is what's going to allow you to, next year, you can lay the sand. You can lay the brick. You got $150 million in cap space. You have all the means to build something good, and I think they're on their way to doing that. So that's 100%. my little analogy. Casey's a journalism major as well, so he didn't like my shot at that.
He said, hey, now. Nah, but 100%, I completely agree. I think, and also you look at it too. Like, I know it's a stretch. No one get mad at me. No one. Oh, I love when he flashes it.
That
I
man's
love when you
degreed
flash it.
up. Degreed up.
Honestly, every woman just watching this right now just drop to their knee and propose to Kev. Like that's what it is. But
I say I got
Yeah.
a journalism degree. If
I think that-
that not enough for you, is that enough for Giselle, bro? Is that what she wants?
I'll tell
What's
you
the
what,
guy with
after I saw
journalism degree?
AB's post on Instagram, I am never trusting another friend the rest of my life. But I do think, and you and I have talked about it. I know it's a long shot. It is a long shot. I got y'all on that one.
Bro. Hey,
But
no.
I've seen a lot of it. I've seen a lot of AB on Instagram in the last couple of days, but that Giselle one got me. 100%. But I do think, you look at guys, and you mentioned it, overpaying Mike Glennon, all these other guys we've overpaid. But I think where I need Ryan Poles to hit, I don't care what anybody says. When T. Higgins hits free agency, overpay that man. Because he's a wide receiver 1 trapped behind Jamar Chase. And I want to see that man with Justin Fields. I want to see Jackson Smith. I want to see all these other guys. I want to see them do their thing. And I want them to be able to do it at an effective rate. I want to see an offense get more money than the defense. Because that's the beauty. And me and you have talked about it. I want a Dable. I'm not going to talk about it. And, my boy, if you haven't heard me say it before, my guy looks like he eats 12 Dicka sausages a day. He embodies
what are sausages?
Dicka sausages, baby.
Oh,
come on now.
Man,
this is a PG-13 show.
No, it's not. We are
It's
so
a
far beyond
little fuck.
PG-13.
It's a little fuck, but it's all right. But what I do think about what you said about Matt and why I love Matt, the hits principle and all this other stuff, which the media ran with. I'm sure there's so many more principles that we don't even know about, and so many more slogans he has. He can make average guys great. And I think that's the beauty of it. If you can just draft the defense and spend your money, majority of it, obviously you're going to put some guys in there to help out the defense and bring in some veterans. But if you can bring the majority of it into the offense and let Eberflus do his thing in developing, that shit's going to be beautiful. And that's going to be cake. Like that was the difference. I think me and you talked about it too, was about, Jay Cutler and the Mark Trestman era. You look at that offense though, you have Garza, you have Kyle Long.
Bro, are you just Garza?
You had everybody. I met Roberto Garza. He slapped me on the neck when in middle school. It was kind of cool. Yeah, he was like, "What's up, kid?" And he just smacked. He meant to hit my back, but he hit my neck, and I was just like, "What the fuck?"
Bro, file a lawsuit.
That was my first case of CTE before I started playing safety.
Bro, we are in Roberto Garza hours. We are in Roberto Garza.
Yeah, Nate
hours.
came back earlier. We're talking about Johnny Knox. Like,
hey, get back up in here.
Hey, Johnny's that dude. He'll forever be that dude. But I do think, we look at those 2013 days. You have Marshall, both the Bennetts. You have Jeffrey Forte. Like, I want to get Justin those type of weapons before we sit here and slander this man.
Think about the 2018 offense. Like, think about that team was good. They had good receivers ahead.
They were
that
nice.
line was playing very well with a good running back duo.
Mm-hmm. They were nice.
They were very good.
Running back trio. Mazzell was that guy. He just didn't get the opportunity.
Mazzell was pretty solid that year.
No, he was not that guy. Get the fuck out of here. We're not doing.
You get the fuck out of here.
It will never be Taquan Mizell hours ever. It's not.
What just happened to your boy True? What happened to True?
Bro, hey, come on, boy. Hey, you know what? Come on, boy. Respect my boy, bro. Respect
my boy too. But I'm gonna call it how it is. You ever listen? Hey, I hope none of my homies are listening to this. You ever listen to your homies SoundCloud raps and you're listening to it and you're like, "That's my dog," and then you listen to it and you're like, "Oh fuck, that's my dog." Like, damn.
You don't gotta do him like that, man.
Damn. That's Mitch. That's who Mitch is. It's like that's my dog.
Mitch.
Jesus. Mitch is a SoundCloud quarterback.
Oh,
you are the man.
Quarterback.
SoundCloud quarterback. Let's brand that, Mike. Let's put that on a t-shirt. He's your SoundCloud quarterback. Mike, we appreciate you coming in. We have another commenter who has joined. But if you guys haven't checked out Mike's stuff, you have to check out Mike on the Mike Podcast, the ASAP Network. He does incredible work, and we're lucky to have him on today. Appreciate you, my guy. We'll see you soon.
Boys.
All right, buddy. All right, Shane M. So if y'all don't know the story, I gotta preface this first, all right? Because when were we live? I think. Where was he? Were we live when Shane M was like in a remote location, like watching us? Like, I think he was at like the Bulls game or something. Oh, this might have been I Am Scox, but we had one of our chatters who was like at a football game or a baseball game or something, was just watching our show. It might have been Shane. I think someone was at like Wrigley or at the United Center, like could have been watching the game and was watching us and commenting for some god awful reason. I mean, if you're doing that, you have something to fix, because I don't know. I'm not sure why there's people watching us at 10:42 p.m. on a Tuesday night. I mean, we're just a couple
that's rough,
buffoons. But Shane M pulls up every single week. He comments, and we've actually never conversed with him before. So I don't know how this is going to go. All right. I don't know what to expect. But Shane M is here. What's up, X Elite Trainer Blue X? Here he comes, the man himself. Shane, put your camera on. The camera's got to go on, Shane. This is unacceptable. There he is. He always
Let's
is.
go.
Let's go.
Wait, I
Oh
haven't-
my God, it's nice putting a face to the name. Shane, how are we doing?
Pretty good. I was the one at Wrigley.
Dude, watch the game, man. You
They-
don't
they
got to watch
lost-
us at
they
Wrigley.
lost like 9-1 or something.
They're a
it was
better team
bad.
than the
Well, that's rough.
Sox.
That's
They're a
true.
better
that's
team than the
true.
Sox.
Oh, don't say shit to me about
Sorry.
the Sox, man. That's just
Shane,
They're
what do
more
you got in
fun.
the background there, man?
Oh,
What are those
My brother's
boxes?
Lego.
Oh, hell yeah, man. That's what we like to see. Legos are the shit. And take that damn hat off, Kellen. It's not Sox hours right now.
Aren't
But
the
Shane,
Bears-
how we
sorry.
feel?
Aren't the Bears like the Cubs like 6 games back from the Sox?
Yeah, who would have thought, right? Who would have thought that would be the
that
case?
is pretty disappointing.
Yeah,
my
it is
perspective.
disappointing. But it's Bears hours. Shane, we know you're in here. We know you have some thoughts. How we feeling? How you feeling right now, man? What are your opinions on the Bears? How we feeling?
Well, I like always watch the Bears with my dad, but I wasn't really into
Oh,
it
yeah,
until they drafted Justin Fields. But I just want to see him be good. But like, I don't know, we just like can't figure it out. Like, I don't know if it's Luke Getsy or like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wish Cole Kmet wasn't terrible. He's good in Madden, but
Is he though? Are you sure about that?
his
Because
catching, he makes these like insane catches. And on this one on play action Y drag wheel, occasionally he'll like
oh,
he'll break
Oh.
he'll break free and there'll be no one on him and he gets it a touchdown every time.
so say the play again.
Play action Y drag wheel, it's broken.
Shane,
the
get on the phone
throwback
with Luke
play.
Getsy right now. Get on the
Yeah.
throne with Luke Getsy right now, and we're putting it in the playbook tonight. All
I
right, I've
wish,
had
I
enough.
wish.
Dude, that's how you know. That's how you know when your team's bad if they just can't move the ball on Madden. I play with the Bears.
So
I
bad.
can't move the ball on Madden, dude. Like I just
Yeah,
can't.
that's not
And that's like if I can't move the ball on Madden with the Chicago Bears, how am I gonna expect them to move the ball in the game, man?
Exactly.
My God, it's terrible. But sheesh, you're right. I
So-
mean, the thing. Go ahead, Kellen.
Shane, I was gonna say, like, so if you had to pick something to fix on the offense, would it be receivers or would it be O-line, or let's even say, like, is play caller an option? If you had to pick one of those three, which one? What are you improving? And tell us why.
Probably play calling, just because. I mean, you can still work with like terrible players. Like the Lions have some players, but at least their O line's good. But
Their
for the
O-line's
most
great.
part, they're pretty bad.
Yeah.
One sec.
Yeah, I hear you. Shane M's he's popping out. He's gonna pop back in soon, I believe. But this is the problem, Kellen. And he's back. This is the
I'm
problem.
back,
Is
I'm
like
back.
everything would be so easy, and I say this all the time. If there was just something to blame, right? Like if
Right.
we could just place the blame on something and pinpoint that and say, hey, you know what? We're gonna place all of our blame on the offensive skill position, and that's it.
Right.
That's the only problem, right? Now we know what to do in the offseason. We got $150 million of cap space. There's a couple free agent wide receivers. It's a relatively okay draft class for wide receivers. That's the fix. But the problem is
But it's like, are we
there's so
still
many
gonna be bad?
problems. Yeah, well,
is the play calling still going to be terrible? So
yeah,
know.
exactly. So, do you do any draft work? Are there any wide receivers you like in the draft? You like Jackson Smith and Jigba?
I like him, yeah, but
What do you like about him?
he's just got like the big play potential. I feel like
Yeah.
that they need.
Damn right.
Yeah,
We
I
do
did a
need
bunch
some
of
big
mock
plays.
drafts, but it's a
Oh,
little
did you?
it's a little early for that.
You're in mock draft season already?
No,
You're already in
last-
mock draft
never
mode?
too early for mock
last season.
drafts.
Last
It's
season.
never too early for a mock draft, my guy. Don't let anyone tell you.
I don't
that it
know.
is.
Shane, what's the hottest, like the most scorching hot take you have about the Bears? That's like never been heard before. Like, come in here with some heat, Shane. What do you just let it out? What's the best, hottest take or hottest thing you have to say?
Hottest take.
There's not a lot of them. They've already like. What are you gonna say?
know.
Right? Like Dante Pettis is a wide receiver 1, right? I mean, what are we doing here? Like,
He probably has some of the best route running right now. I feel like.
oh,
I don't know.
Pettis?
Well, at least in the first few weeks, he's kind of disappeared now.
He's one of the only fucking route runners on the team at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Hottest take. I feel like Cole Kmet is garbage. Isn't really a hot take. It
No, that's
used to
fair.
be.
If you listen to this podcast, it's not a hot take.
Yeah, I'm not a Sam Mustafa fan anymore.
Oh,
That
what
That is
happened,
also
dude?
not a
What
hot take
happened? You were
anymore.
the guy.
He's horrible.
You were the president of the Sam Mustafa
I,
club, bro.
I never
fan
really
club.
liked him, but I knew that there were like people in the chat that actually did, so I was just
Yeah, it was
defending him
great.
as a joke.
I liked Sam Mustafa.
Shut up, bro. Nah, you're out. You're out. You're gone.
After,
You're gone. Get out.
after Minnesota 2020. Like that was when Laser was calling plays, and we ran the ball very well that day.
Well, according to
ran the ball
ESPN, he has 100%
absurdly well.
pass block win
It's
rate.
Minnesota in 2020, and in whatever the fuck their fucking stadium is called. We ran the ball really well
West
that day. And
Bank.
the offensive
Come on,
line played
Kevin.
really well. I think like Alex Bars was the guard. Like he was at guard the whole year, and Whitehair was at center, and Bars was terrible. And then they pushed Whitehair out to guard.
Right,
And they
right.
put Mustafa at center. I was like, oh shit, this fucking Mustafa guy, he's
Oh,
not bad.
stop,
And
bro.
then
Stop.
and then
Stop.
guys-
Stop.
going
Stop.
into 2021, I
I
was
thought-
like, hey, we've got a guy. He's smart. He can move in a zone scheme. He can start for us at center. And then come to find out, I didn't really watch the tape because he has no play strength. He has no anchor. There's none of that in the pass game. And if you can't pass block as a center, you can't play.
Okay, I
Bad, bro.
might have a take. I
right,
don't know if
let's
this is
go.
a hot
Let's go.
take. Do you trade
Go.
Eddie Jackson
Ooh, I
while
saw this
the
on
value
Twitter.
is high?
No, you don't. I mean,
But, he's not that old, so I feel like he's back now.
He should
so-
probably he should be a part of this team when they're done rebuilding.
Correct.
I feel like
Correct.
that's the thing. Like Khalil Mack, I can see why you got rid of him. And then everyone's like on the why didn't we trade Robert Quinn train? And we probably should have, but like we don't know what Poles found. Like we don't know if he found a good dance partner. Like the best offer he might have gotten was like a 6th-round pick, and
Yeah.
he was like he probably like got off the phone like fuck you and put the phone down. Like we don't know what
Yeah.
happened. So.
Look, I truly believe. I mean, you know, everybody who's watching this probably knows we had Jaquan Brisker's trainer on this show, and he has projected him to be a Hall of Famer. He's put it on tape. He said he believes Jaquan Brisker can be an All-Pro and definitely a Hall of Famer if he keeps it up. And can you imagine that safety duo for the next 5 years, man? I mean,
gonna
a
be
Brisker and Jackson, like, and you've already seen the effects. We talked so much about it, how Brisker is going to help Eddie, and then, you know, how Eddie can return to his 2018 form. And the guy's on pace to have 14 interceptions, man. Like, he's on pace to lead the league in interceptions. I think he's probably tied for the league in interceptions right now. I'd have to double check that. I don't know if anyone has more than 3. But I think that's like at some point, yeah, it makes sense to trade assets, but you also got to have guys who are, you know, part of that foundation, right? And that's why I think they're ultimately going to pay Roquan Smith. They're ultimately going to pay Eddie Jackson. They're ultimately going to pay, you know, hopefully in a couple years, Justin Fields and Darnell Mooney, right? Like you still need, and maybe even Tevin Jenkins, right? Like you can't just reload. You have to have guys who are, you know, established here, who are going to help set the tone for the new guys who are, you know, advocates of this system and this coaching staff. So I think in certain, like, it makes sense, right? And that's always going to get floated around when teams are in a, you know, lose now situation like the Bears are apparently, that trading everyone is logical, but I would advise against that line of thinking. Now, I think they could potentially make a trade to somebody. And I saw David Montgomery floated around, which I don't think would be actually crazy.
To the Broncos, maybe.
Yeah, because they lost Javonte Williams for the year. But
Melvin
all right.
Gordon's terrible. My friend's a Broncos fan, so I always hear about Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, running backs are weird, man. Running backs are it almost just like Jamal Williams is just putting up the same numbers as DeAndre Swift, right? Like it just doesn't matter. Never take a running back before round 5 in the NFL draft ever. Running backs don't matter. They just don't. But Shane, appreciate you coming in, man. This is like, it's been great to actually converse with you. You've been in our chat for so long, so we really appreciate you coming in, man. Appreciate all the love, and yeah, we'll see you around, bro.
Yeah, thanks. Hope you guys get a lot more views.
You, bro.
This is really good stuff.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, good night.
All right, let's go with we got to do a clap for Shane. I mean,
that was pretty cool.
That's our guy. He comes in. He is the man. And now we got one more guest. This guy, he goes to Ohio State. So we could talk a little Ohio State, Kellen. We talk a little Ohio State, talk a little Jack Smith and Jigba. He's actually on the sidelines. He worked with me at the Lantern. Great kid. So he's on the sidelines doing video stuff. Really, really good journalist. He's going to be one of the kids with the journalism degree. Let's bring in the one and only Casey Smith. Casey, what's up, buddy? How we doing? You're lagging. Casey's frozen already.
Man's frozen.
You know what? Get your damn Wi-Fi right, Casey. What the hell you think this is? Okay, you're back now. What's up, buddy?
What's up? Were you able to hear anything I said before?
No, what'd you say? Were you roasting us?
I did not.
I was just like, "What's up? How you been? It's been a minute."
Nice things only. Yeah, man. So, all right. Listen, get it off your chest. Do you have anything negative to say about the Bears? Do you want to roast us at all while you're at it? Do you want to go ahead? Do you have any? I mean, you're a Colts fan, so you don't have much to say. I mean, your team sucks just as much, if not more.
I seem to remember a certain game in 2006.
Oh, get the fuck out of here, dude! I don't know what you're talking
way.
about.
No.
What are you talking
way.
about?
He
Bro?
just came in here and told that. No shot.
Hey, no. Anytime I'd give Kevin shit about that, he'd be like, "Oh, I didn't remember anything after the opening kickoff."
We won the game. You're telling
As
me we
far
didn't win
as I
the game?
remember, we
The
won
game,
that
as far as I
7-11.
remember, the game ended after the kick return. As far as I remember, my mind might be a little foggy, but that's what I remember. Man, this is like Colts fans hanging on to that. Colts fans hanging on to that is like Bears fans hanging on to 28. It's like Bears fans hanging on to 85. Like that's all they have, right? You know, I feel like the pain of Colts fans is like, actually, it's not up there. The Andrew Luck thing was bad, but
Exactly. Thank you.
but you guys are a winning franchise year after year. Yeah, I don't, like nothing about that.
Not anymore, dude.
Here's a question I have for you, Casey. This is an Ohio State
Yeah.
question. I actually want you to answer this, truthfully, honestly, with all of your
Got it.
analysis. Act like you're on the Lantern TV Sports pregame show, Casey. All right, you just stepped up to the table. Jackson Smith-Njigba has played a game this year, and you wrote the article that you don't think he should play a game this year. Which
I don't think he should.
before I ask you the next question, why do you think that? And Kellen, I want you to hear your thoughts on this too. But why do you think he shouldn't play a game?
So, at the end of the article, what I said was he plays with tremendous grit. He's one of the hardest workers, in that locker room, and just out of the wide receiver group, he's a net positive when he's on the field.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like with Ohio State, you haven't seen it before. Nick Bosa sat out in 2018, and also, you saw it in college football where Jamar Chase sat out, and he's a number 5 pick, and he's one of the best receivers in the NFL. So Jackson Smith-Njigba has that same talent level and that same potential, and I think you saw that in the Rose Bowl. And he's already a projected top 15 pick as is. So how much can he really improve his stock?
Right.
Especially with all the wealth of wide receivers between Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Egbuka, and Julian Fleming's coming on strong. And
Jaden Ballard.
And Jaden Ballard had that onside kick recovery. Rutgers tried to surprise last week. But and then also Cade Stover getting involved in the passing game. So I think obviously he's going to try his goal, the team goal, so he's not going to try and, but it wouldn't be the worst thing only for his career, but also just general well-being and health for him to potentially sit out.
Kellen, do you have a disagreement with that?
No, I'm not going to say I disagree, but whatever he decides to do, fully support it, because either way it makes sense, because
no doubt.
Jamar sat out, and I think Jamar kind of saw the writing on the wall and was like, it's not going to get any better. I put out great tape. We're not going to go back to back. It's just not going to happen. Same thing with Penei Sewell at Oregon that year, who sat out, Rashawn Slater at Northwestern. And all these guys are really good NFL players, but a guy like Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith, who both didn't have the draft stock that Jamar Chase had after 2019, but they were still going to be high picks, if not first rounders, definitely early day 2. And they both went out, and obviously Waddle got hurt. So he's an example of still can be successful when you get hurt. Devontae Smith's an example of what happens when you stay healthy on a successful team. So, whatever decision he makes sense. In my opinion, it's really a win-win, because he's going to come back and and be safe because he's sharing the load with three. Oh, I don't think Marvin Harrison was a 5-star receiver, but Egbuka and Julian Fleming were, and Marvin Harrison may as well be a 5-star. He may as well be a fucking 6-star at this point. That guy's insane. But
Yeah.
I mean, you're right in the fact that he's such a hard worker, and I think he loves being in the facility. I saw him in there today. Like, he's on the jugs machine, catching balls over his shoulders in the cafeteria. Like, I think he's coming back, and I hope he is. But, like, regardless, he's going to be a Bear. And I'm going to put it in motion
That's
now.
what I
The guy
okay.
needs to be a Chicago Bear. And
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to join him, but it's going to be someone else. So it's going to be Darnell Mooney and Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I don't know if they're going to trade for, like, DK or Debo or someone, or like T. Higgins. Like, something's got to happen. Like, we got to get somebody. Some damn buddy needs to come besides him, and then the Bears will be set.
So my question was, what do you think the odds are that Jackson Smith and Jigba falls in the draft if he does opt out? Because you mentioned all these other situations where it's happened. In a lot of those instances, that player hasn't fallen in the draft. Is it different for Jackson Smith and Jigba this year? Because, like, just assuming that the Bears are going at their current pace and they end up around 8 and 9 or 7 and 10, they're not going to have a top 10 pick, or they might be right at 10, 11. And that might be too late to get Jackson Smith and Jigba. So the reason why I'm posing this question is if Bears fans really do want that to happen, they're probably going to need him to fall a little bit. Does him not playing the rest of the year, if that happens, allow him to fall?
Yeah, Kevin.
Sorry, go ahead. Casey, you're the guest. You go.
I've seen him mocked. All right, I've seen him mocked. Kevin, I know you hate mock drafts, but I've seen him mocked as high as like probably 8. That was before, I believe, Wisconsin, but I've seen him as low as 15. So I think anywhere between that 8 to 15 slot is a viable option. So if the Bears end up at 10 or 11, he's definitely going to be certainly an option. And I think it would be smart to take him so he can link back up with Justin Fields. You saw what they could do in the COVID year with Justin Fields throwing up that lob. I believe that was the opener against Nebraska where Justin had that toe tap, just that absolutely acrobatic catch. So, I mean, they have a little bit of history together. Yeah, it was you and about probably 20 other people in the shoe, but
right.
But yeah, so I mean, I could see him. I can see him in a Bears uniform for sure.
I hope you're right. I mean, that's it's interesting too, because I think they will have the means to trade up if they want to, and they should do that if that becomes available. But the fact that it's such a loaded quarterback class is going to make things really interesting, and that helps the Bears out a little bit. Is, you know, a lot of these teams who are now discovering that they need a quarterback, and if there's going to be what I think like probably around 4 or 5, if 4 maybe in the top 10, if Will Levis continues to boost his stock, right? Like, you could get 4 in the top 10. And that, boom, that's not even including Will Anderson, who's a lock to be a top 5 pick, probably.
Jalen Carter's a lock. Brian Bresee is a lock. Jalen Carter,
right? So, like, the chips can fall into your bucket there and get Justin Fields on the, or not Justin Fields, Jackson Smith and Jigba on the team. So that's good to hear, man. And I am curious to see if he plays, and if he doesn't, you know, you never know. You never know. And you never know the things that will come up, right? Like the dumbass bullshit about Justin Fields has no fucking work ethic, you know, like what, you know, like things like that just float around or whatever. But man, ridiculous. I got to charge my phone real quick. Entertain it.
But Casey, just to go back to that point about opting out, like Nick Bosa, you know, we talked about him, right, and opting out, like, ended up working out really well for him, and it was a little different in his case. Like, I think his injury was like a little bit more serious,
right?
And I don't know like how much Nick Bosa was like focused on playing college football that year, but like I think Jackson's a guy that I think he wants to play this year. I think he wants to be a part of the team, because like right now they're ranked 3, but they probably should be 2 or 1. Like, they know the opportunity they have, you know what I mean? But golly, I hope that guy's a Bear. I think regardless, the Bears' first pick is going to be a receiver, no matter who it is, whether it's him, Jordan Addison, Booty, or who else is there, Quentin Johnson. someone else out. The receiver class is not as deep as it's
not.
like been in the past. Like it's not the same. So they're gonna have to get one of those like big three probably.
Casey, I had a question for you. All right, you're a Colts fan,
Yeah.
Bears fans. You're a little bit I think. Okay, I'll make sure you can hear us. You're a little bit lagged out. Who do you think ends up with a better record this year, the Colts or the Bears?
Oh, the Bears
Be
for
honest.
sure.
Bears. Be honest. Come on. Do you really believe that, or are you just making yourself feel
No,
bad?
I really.
Now, is that because you think the Colts are going to be that bad, or you think the Bears are going to be just fine? Like, why do you say that? Because I don't think the Colts are that bad.
We're a functional franchise.
You're not a dysfunctional franchise. You are not a dysfunctional franchise, Casey. You are that. You're not dysfunctional.
When you start out 1-4, 1-5, and you have a revolving door at quarterback, you've had a different starting quarterback each year since 2018. So, that's
actually
priority number one. That, and I think we're on pace to have like 63 sacks this year for like over 432 sack yards, I believe. So, yeah, Matt Ryan, I was on the train when we traded for him, and I was like, all right, the Colts are back. This is the guy. No, I'm off the Matt Ryan bandwagon. I mean, for as bad as, and I mean, you could see the downfall coming. You let Anthony Costanzo walk. You let the offensive line coach walk. Mark Lewinsky walks in the offseason, and everybody's thinking it's going to be fine and dandy because you have Ryan Kelly and you have Quentin Nelson and Braden Smith on the line still. Braden Smith hasn't played well. Matt Pryor at left tackle sucks. He is terrible. So, I mean, Matt Ryan, he's lucky to have 2.5 seconds like the average NFL quarterback does. Like, that's your 2.5 seconds to get through some of your reads and whatnot.
Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be lucky to get that. So he's going down left and right. He can't hold on to the football. He's fumbled probably like, I believe, 9 times. A lot of those were drop snaps, but I mean, 9 times through 4 games. Yeah, I don't know how. The Colts somewhat, I believe, have the Chiefs' number. I don't know how. I think you just got to keep Pat Mahomes in the pocket, and I think we did a good job of that. Because once he's able to get out and create, that's when you get in trouble. But yeah, other than that, you were in the group chat. My updated Colts record was 3-13-1.
You're not. You're winning more than 5 games. You're winning more than 5 games. Your team. Once Shaquille Leonard comes back, your team's good enough to win more than 5 games. Come on.
Yeah, he was back last week. Then he left that game against the Titans with a concussion, and he broke his nose too. So
Not good.
Yeah.
Golly. Well, you know what? Again, this is a Bears therapy session, and it makes me feel good to hear, and it should make all Bears fans feel good to hear that you're not a Colts fan, right? Like, apparently it could be worse. Apparently you could be a Colts fan. All right. And, living in Indianapolis is already making things not good for you, for all those folks that live there. But, the things aren't in hell for the Bears. They're bad, but it could be worse. Thank you, Casey. We needed this. We really needed this to close out our show.
This is the Bears therapy session. I'm here to help.
This is it. And we're here to help you. I don't have much Colts insight, but we hope things go well. You're an AFC opponent. We want things to go well for you too. Okay, Casey?
Appreciate it.
Now, hopefully you can hit a parlay.
Damn you, Aaron Rodgers.
Damn you, Aaron Rodgers. We're all in agreement on that. That's for sure. All 31 other teams in the league are in agreement in that. But Casey, it's good having you on, buddy. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
Yeah, appreciate you, Casey.
It's good to see you again. Yep.
All right.
Take care.
See you later, buddy. That was Casey Smith. Kellen, it's been 2 hours now.
2 hours.
We just did 2 hours. Shane M is still here. I don't want things to go well. Go Chiefs. I'm also not worried about the Colts. Neither am I.
I'm also not worried about the Colts.
Apparently Casey is. So Shane M, appreciate you joining up. Now we got, we just, a little bit of, lo-fi music, just relax a little bit.
Yep.
Our closing thoughts here. Tuesday Night Therapy, the first edition. Of Tuesday Night Bears Therapy.
Yeah.
This is going on podcast too. So we have a full 2 hours and 4 minutes of Bears Therapy for you in podcast form. If you're listening to this in podcast form, go back, watch it live. It's more fun if you watch it live on the stream and bring in the guests. And if you want to join, we will make the link available every week. We want to have more guests. But Kellen, based off of when you started to where you're at now, did you feel a little better through Tuesday Night Therapy?
We're good at what we do, and we're good therapists, man. I feel a little better. I hope Luke Getsy watched. Because I'm coming for his job if he doesn't step it up. So
there you go.
That's where we're going.
Kellen's on his way. And the play that Shane M said, why play action, why drag F, why X, R, I don't know what he said.
Why drag wheel? Why play
drag
action,
wheel?
why drag wheel?
Apparently it's the most undefeated play in Madden, and apparently our guy Luke Getsy could use some of it. So we'll get on the phone. We'll make a call, and we'll get that into their arsenal, and hopefully the Bears will have more than 300 passing yards next week against the Minnesota Vikings. We will be here tomorrow night. That's 3 straight days of content for you guys, breaking down Bears Vikings, myself, and Jake Hassan. And maybe, Kellen, if you're available, we'll do it. We'll do a 3-man show. If you got the time, we'll think about it. And this week or next week, we will be having Simeon Kelly on, Justin Fields' friend, trainer, and photographer. We'll talk a little bit about football with him. That'll happen soon. So never miss a day of content. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all of you guys coming in. For myself, for Kellen, this has been Bears Nation Podcast and the first edition of Tuesday Night Therapy. We'll see you next week.